Yeah, Fluff says that you've been exiting Formula One fandom and moving over to...
I exited a while ago, but like it's not that I exited. It's like it was just a constant. Lewis Hamilton wins. Lewis Hamilton wins again.
Well, now we're looking
and
at...
guess what? He won again.
Now we're looking at upsets.
So yeah, in the past few years, it's been slowly
Max Verstappen.
changing. You know,
he was
stupid
dominant last year,
exactly.
but now McLaren as a team's dominant.
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. Like it's
now it's heating up.
It's starting to get a little dicey.
In fact,
you know?
me and Fluff bought one of those like package for the season of Formula One for this year. Just to watch, and it's given us some technical difficulty, so I didn't see yesterday's race. Fluff probably watched it.
Well, all you got to do is wake up early. Well, no, you don't have. It's on. Well, no.
No, there was one yesterday at midnight.
Yeah, they're all like random.
Because it's all over the world. But
yeah.
I was telling Keith before the podcast started. We were able to stream it on our phone, but every time we tried to cast it to the TV, the app would crash. So Fluff ended up just like, okay, well, if I'm watching this, I'm going to go lay in my bed and watch it because it's midnight.
Exactly.
And I was like, well, I wanted to watch it on the TV, so I'm just not going to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah, I forget how I used to watch it. It was either like, I think it was on HBO Max. They would even stream it. And you would just wake up at I would wake up at 7 a.m. and it'd be live. And I'm like, all right, let's watch this. And then I fall asleep halfway through because it was 7 a.m. on a Sunday or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And it was already beat up from work. So I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep, wake back up towards the end of the race.
Oh,
and
Hamilton won.
Yeah. And it's all right, Hamilton won. I'm like, could have called that. I got to start betting on these things, you know?
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the only reason why I kind of got out of it for a minute, you know?
I think now's the time to get back in.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And then next year, I think, is when they switch to a new set of rules, new chassis.
Yeah, yep. It'll be interesting to say the least, you know? I mean, I started getting back into it, a couple years ago after Hamilton stopped winning, you know?
Yeah.
And it was starting to shake up a little bit. And it's like, okay. Then Verstappen won, and I was like, oh, okay. And then there was a big hype about that. And then now he's at, Hamilton's at Ferrari. And
yeah, that yesterday was his first race
up,
for Ferrari, and I would have liked to have seen that. But like I said, if I wasn't watching it on the big screen, I wasn't watching
it. I'm surprised. I feel like we are kind of in an era where people don't mind watching shit on their phones. I don't. I'm weird.
If it's my only choice, but if I have my TV, I want to see it on my TV.
That's true.
It's a 4K TV. I paid good money for it.
Yeah, this man gets it, you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I ain't got that kind of fancy TV, but I don't really. If I don't have to watch it on my phone, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I just started randomly watching the gamer streamers or whatever.
Yeah.
The horror, that dude that plays horror games, and I absolutely
on Twitch or something.
Yeah, I absolutely hate horror. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the hell I even watch these things. You know what I mean? It's just on, and I'm just the dude's just a goofball. You know, everybody's in the chat saying goofy things. And I'm like, yo, this is actually kind of fucks. You know what I mean?
And it is cool when it's captivating like that when you're just entertained by that person. It's the whole thing, but it's cool when somebody can kind of capture it that.
Yeah. But I started watching that on my phone, seeing that on Instagram and little shorts and stuff, and then I just was like, wait, I can do YouTube on my. I usually use a PlayStation. Or
I use my Xbox.
Yeah,
my Xbox is 90% of the time a YouTube box.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So I was like, I could do YouTube on that. I forgot about that. You know? And I started, I was like, sweet, now it's on the TV.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Adrian, you were also telling me, I don't know if you knew this, but it was news to me that you can with this F1 package that he bought, he can kind of click through different drivers.
Yeah, I had that. Oh yeah, I had that a few years back. It's pretty cool. You get it on the app, and you can go through the different drivers. You can even watch they'll give you the live map or whatever. You see all the little color dots going around. You're just and you click on it, you see the time. You know what I mean? The lap and stuff. Because that's pretty cool.
That's a game changer, dude.
Absolutely.
Because I remember growing up and being a little kid. I didn't know when things were on TV, but you would just catch a GT race, a GT3 race where there's a bunch of different cars, there's 3 different races going on, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'd just be mesmerized. But then, there was always that point where you're oh, but I liked watching that one car, and you guys went back to this car, and I'm not really entertained by watching that one.
They're watching what's going on in the front. It's one guy who's half a lap ahead. Meanwhile, there's a crazy battle going on midfield, and they're just fixated on who's in first. I'm
yep.
There's something going on back there. Can we see that?
It's pretty sweet. That's why I started getting into actually the 24-hour races. Yeah, those are pretty sweet, actually. Yeah, you get to spend the whole Saturday
Yeah.
morning to like Sunday, you know.
Yeah,
You're
wake
just,
up
like,
in the morning. Yeah.
You just sleep random times, just eat dinner random times, you know, like eat food random times.
Let me
and
fuck
stuff,
my
and,
whole
like,
weekend up. For
Yeah,
this.
exactly, 100%. I did it with Le Mans, 24-hour Le Mans last year. I think I was telling Fluff about it. I don't know if he told you about it, but
I think you mentioned it. Yeah.
It was awesome, dude. I woke up at like the best times. I don't know.
That was. Did you watch the race where we had the Camaro NASCAR?
That was that one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was that one. So that was part of the reason why I was like, yo, the Camaro.
You got Freebird playing in the
background.
Exactly.
I'm like, and dude, that thing was just terrorizing everybody the entire time. It was.
I mean,
so
we've all
awesome.
seen that one clip where he's behind a hypercar,
Yeah.
flashing the high beams, like, motherfucker,
he's
I'm
like,
gonna
if
pass
you.
you.
Don't move. Yeah, they cranked that thing up to like 11,
And, like,
so it could keep up with
I
those cars.
get
It
it.
was
I
awesome.
100% get that car was an exhibition car.
Yeah.
It did not follow any class rules. It was
No.
illegal as hell for any of the
Yeah.
classes actually racing. But the fact that every single one of those snooty Europeans was like, it's going to be a rolling wall. And like they had drivers' briefings where they were singling out the Camaro driver saying like, if you're in the way, you need to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everyone's expecting this car to do fuck all in this race.
Yeah.
And
No, you can't. No, don't ever disrespect
that
the
freedom
Camaro
brings
on
a
the
tear
track,
to my
first
eye.
off. Yeah, don't ever. You know that thing. Those Camaros were monsters on race.
yeah, they're built on GM's Alpha platform.
Yeah.
They handle better than BMW M cars.
Exactly. It was absolutely insane. You know,
Yeah, those drivers in like the back of the drivers meeting, just like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. They're like, get on with it, Frenchie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just sunglasses on.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Are we done?
Yeah, I just woke up an hour ago. I'm tired of hearing.
I wake up, I piss excellence.
Yeah, exactly. They were full Ricky Bobby, you know. But yeah, no, that 24-hour stuff was great. You know, it was awesome. They had the what was it? The Spanish announcers. I woke up for that, the perfect time. I woke up because I hear them, like, you know, you hear the Spanish, you talking
That
everything.
cadence.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what is happening? Because,
Yo.
you know, a lot of the other guys that kind of talk English and their language here and there, but these guys full Spanish, you know what I mean? And so they started singing too. I don't know if you saw that.
Whoa.
I did
Oh
not.
yeah, they made a whole Le Mans song. It was absolutely great. I was sitting there like,
Yeah.
They were like le 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 Mans, le 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 Mans.
Just like, ole.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is great.
And I'm sure that's at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I absolutely love 24-hour races now. You know, everybody just gets goofy. They gotta entertain people. You know? So yeah, it's pretty.
That is kind of true. It almost turns into like one of those 24-hour like donation charity event things. So they're
Things start breaking down by hour 8.
Everybody's just getting tired.
Yeah,
you know?
they bring a magician in at like midnight.
You know, that's what they do. They like set off fireworks and everything. You know, they're just like trying to keep the vibe going. It's like 2 a.m. You just see like a whole fireworks show going off and stuff. You know?
A headband at like 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hilarious, dude. It's awesome.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that stuff is great.
I gotta look into like when those are gonna be. Obviously, 24-hour Le Mans hasn't happened this year.
No,
that's later in the year.
But they have like the 24-hour Daytona, Le Mans, Sebring. Yeah, exactly. The whole nine, you know. So yeah, it's pretty. Yeah,
So I gotta catch one of those.
Yeah, you got options. You know what I mean. So yeah, but the Le Mans one is top tier, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Just like Monaco is the crown jewel of F1.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, here's something that's gonna make people hate me. I think it's a terrible race.
With the Monaco race?
Yeah. No one passes. You've qualified pole. You're almost guaranteed to win.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, oh, it's intense. It's crazy. It's narrow. It's high risk. I'm like, it's boring.
Well,
you're watching a high-speed parade.
That once again, that's the exact reason why I stopped watching F1 at the time. I stopped watching F1 because it was like nobody could pass Hamilton. So it's like, you know, you might see some action in the back, but then it's just mostly the same up front.
Yeah.
Whatever they got qualified with.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what the race was just set to be.
Yeah, the battle was for 5th.
Yeah, maybe some back and forth between Mercedes and Ferrari with Hamilton and
Leclerc.
Yeah, and you know whoever else was there at the
Sainz.
time. You know what I mean? I keep forgetting names, but yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
those guys. You know, it's like there might be some back and forth. Maybe like halfway through, it's like maybe
and then
Hamilton,
a pit stop
like,
happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe Hamilton blinked. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
somebody passed him one time, and then
Yeah.
he's like gets right focused, locked in.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the
Unless
end of
it's
the race.
Monaco.
Yes. Yeah, we all usually see how those Monaco races go.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
I mean, I get if you're there, it's probably a blast. Like,
Well, the biggest like
It's
attraction
all
to
rich
it.
people.
Exactly. There you go. So that's
Right,
all
it's
it
money.
is.
Yeah.
So
all
it's
the
gonna be beautiful
celebrities go
yachts,
there.
beautiful scenery, beautiful people, and
That's all F1 is in general.
I'm not in the right tax
you know?
bracket to even fantasize about going there.
If you ever watch F1 before the races, that's all they're doing
Well,
is
the
chasing
fucking
celebrities.
the package
around
is
the paddock.
$130 for the season.
Oh yeah, I know.
F1 is for people for money.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
They don't cater to me.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know.
And Monaco is just a party with some cars driving around.
Yeah, I just like to see people go fast. You know. I will say though, I get into a little bit of the older F1.
Oh, yeah. All racing was better older.
Yeah, exactly.
You ask like anyone, when was the golden age of X racing series? They're going to say 20, 30, 40 years ago,
Yeah,
if not older.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, all
Cars
those,
have gotten too sterile.
those guys were nuts too back then.
Oh, God.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know how they went so fast. Their
Yeah.
balls were so fucking heavy.
Yeah, how do you fit into a one-seater when your nuts are trying to fit in the same seat, you know? Like, dude.
Yeah, that's like when like Marlboro was like the
And Marlboro
sponsor.
sponsored
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, absolutely.
We used
That
to be a
was the peak.
society.
Yeah, the cars looked like actual cigarette packs.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, that was peak time. I feel
Look,
like.
Marlboro,
You're right.
bad. Tobacco, bad. Smoking, bad. But can we let cigarette companies sponsor shit again?
Yeah.
I
for
mean-
Times
real.
were better.
Dude, that and like, you know, like alcohol, like Jägermeister, that
Martini.
livery. Yeah,
Oh,
you know, Martini.
yeah.
Yeah, the orange Jägermeister, the
Yeah.
tri-stripe Martini, you know.
Martini's
yeah.
iconic.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't
Martini
beat
and
that.
Marlboro have like
Yeah.
the most iconic liveries.
I know
hands
it's
down.
like crap, like beer or whatever, and champagne, but like when you see it in like the liquor store, it's like give me
Yeah.
that. It's just because of the fact that
It's like you
yeah.
can't go on the beach without Corona.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows it tastes like piss water.
Let's try to be fancy.
Yeah.
But you know, we're about family.
Yeah, exactly. It's racing.
Yeah, that just goes into like the marketing does work.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. It's like you got me.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, but like the Lowe's and the Home Depot and you know,
That's
like,
on NASCAR.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
those things don't work. It's
Yeah.
like I don't want Geico now. Like I
Yeah.
don't want, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
if
like
the dude
you-
wins, it's not like I'm going down the street
Yeah.
to Lowe's to go buy like some
Right.
lumber that Sunday or whatever. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
If
Yeah,
I
it's
wanted
not like-
warped lumber, I'd go to Home Depot.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, if you know you got a project going on, it's like, oh yeah, my favorite racer is sponsored by Lowe's. I'm gonna go to Lowe's. You know,
Yeah.
okay, I
Maybe.
can see that maybe, but
Yeah.
it's like there's a Home Depot right down the street. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
the marketing only works when it's all like product
Exactly.
like specific.
Yeah,
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 but
yeah,
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 it definitely would work with cigarettes. I feel like and alcohol,
Absolutely.
which is why
yeah,
those
back
guys
in the
lose
day,
out.
dude. Yeah, absolutely. You saw that and you're like, I want some cigarettes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a Marlboro man.
Yeah, exactly.
And dude, like the budgets for those companies have got to be massive.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I don't know who do you think like the top contributor today is as far as
Today?
like sponsor? Like who's the big sponsor today in anything?
Who do we see everywhere? I know back when Hamilton was like first getting hot, it was like Vodafone, which is like European Verizon.
Yeah.
They were everywhere,
Monster
all over
was
the
a pretty
tracks.
big one for
True.
a while there.
Yeah,
Red
True.
Bull was a big
Red
one
Bull,
until
yeah,
they got their
yeah.
hand into racing entirely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean now Red Bull still is. There's still like they're still
Sponsoring shit.
giant,
Tons.
dude. Like
Yeah.
because they're just in
Pirelli.
everything. Yeah, Pirelli.
Pirelli does all the tires and like
Yeah, you would see the random like.
and
Ps
when you're on the
everywhere.
when they're on the
Yeah.
podium and they've got the jackets, they're Pirelli jackets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's still the tires for F1.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's a big deal
Yeah.
amongst itself right there.
Yeah, is that
Um,
like Googleable? Can you just Google like
What's
number
the top
one, like
sponsor?
top F1 sponsor? Yeah, right.
Biggest-
I don't know.
Sponsor
Biggest sponsor, whatever.
F1.
Who's the fanciest? Oh yeah.
Oracle and
that's
HP.
everything.
Oh, interesting.
Oracle, the lighting
And
company.
HP Hewlett Packard. Yeah, the computer company.
And
Interesting.
Oracle, the lighting company, right? Oracle, the definition.
No, it's
pulls
a
up
cloud
the
program.
Matrix.
No, it looks like they do a bunch of cloud stuff and shit.
Okay. I was
So
about to say,
Tech.
or maybe I'm thinking of a different.
I do remember seeing
lighting.
Oracle on a lot of the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we used to look up Oracle lights. Is that what I'm thinking of? I have no idea. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's it.
It's definitely not this Oracle.
Yeah,
It's
see,
definitely
that's
not
the one
that.
I was thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It's much more low budget,
Yeah,
more
see,
in
no,
my
that's
tax bracket.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing this font
yeah,
plastered
well,
on cars.
The Oracle lighting, they sponsored FD, that Viper. You remember that thing?
I definitely remember the Blue Viper.
Yeah, the
Blue Viper. Yeah, but that sponsorship didn't do very good because I had no idea, dude. This is the first I'm hearing of Oracle. That's so funny, dude. Sorry, I got you mid drink.
It's all good. Yeah, I think they were like a truck lighting thing. Like back in the day, they started out real
like the
big.
light bars and shit.
Yeah, that thing maybe.
Like a KC Lights competitor.
Yeah, back when I had a truck and did truck things, you know.
And then we got yelled at in my apartment for like wiring your lights. Yeah. But the guy who yelled at us was cool. We're just doing, he had a light out. We're just fixing it. He's like, all right, well, as soon as you're done, shut that hood.
Yeah.
Gotcha, sir.
Relax, buddy. Kick rocks, dude.
Well, you know why they were so strict about that?
Because a bunch of students were renting
the UTI students specifically.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we had the parking lot for the pool. That was separate down there, and there were some fucking UTI students doing like an engine swap down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's those must have been some of the good ones. Because I remember we had one UTI student who lived right across the way from us, and he worked on his car. It was a Civic. Worked on his car. I think you might have even been there for this.
Might have.
But
there a lot.
But he worked on his car at school because UTI let them work like only on Wednesday. Meanwhile, we're working on student and teacher cars like every day because ATC's better school.
They get it,
hands down.
Yeah.
But and he was like, oh yeah, my belt keeps popping off. Like I broke down on me on the way home. Blah blah. Blah. And me and Pat, I know Pat was definitely there, but we're like, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
And he didn't fucking tighten the alternator bolt. It was like sticking out. The alternator was fucking loose. And we're like,
Jesus.
Really? So I did the most passive aggressive thing I could think of because rival school and we gotta show that we're better.
Of course.
I made him hold the flashlight.
That's right.
I'm like, all right,
You're
Pat.
my son.
Pat, I need you to put tension on the alternator. Once I get the belt on, I'll tighten it down. You hold this flashlight.
Yeah. That's how you do it right there. For sure.
Like, why don't you go get us a bucket of steam and we'll be here fixing your shit.
No, stop.
And
no, somebody got me with that. Don't even play.
Bro, dude, I got hit with one even worse. Bro, so I'm not a very smart kid. Didn't pay attention in school. Certainly didn't pay attention. Right. So did not pay attention in the biology, like human biology. And this guy who I was helping
I know
work
where this
on
is
a car.
going.
Yeah. So he was like. He's like, yo, I was like, I got parts waiting at the parts room. This is at Toyota. And he's like, I got parts right in the parts room. Go grab it. It's a fallopian tube. And I was like, oh, like that sounds legit. Dude, that sounds legit. If you don't know the human body,
it's a real
the
thing.
Female reproductive
it is a real
system, then that's a real thing.
Yes.
So I go down there and I go to the parts counter. I'm like, hey, I'm picking up this thing for Angel. It's a fallopian tube. And they were like, and then everybody in the parts room was just like, what? And then they were like, who sent you over here?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it was Angel. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
They're playing a trick on you, sweetie. Because it was
honey.
a female. It's and then all the rest of the guys are just cracking up. They're like, I was like, go tell him he's an asshole.
That's hilarious.
Just, honey.
And I come back and I feel like every parts room is like when you walk from the parts to back to the shop.
Yeah.
It is a long walk.
Yeah.
And
it
I can
always
see it.
is.
And the entire shop is just waiting for me to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
They know.
and then they're just like, ah.
They know.
So the walk of shame was almost worse than the parts room.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just
yeah,
being
for
fuck you guys, man. Come on.
Oh, dude, I've been there, brother. I've been there twice at the dealership, and then the bucket of steam was when I was 16 at Swiss Farms. He was like, go to the, I don't know, you ever see a Swiss Farms?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's like a
We're
little.
from Delaware.
Yeah, I know. It's like a little drive-through, convenience store type deal.
Oh,
right?
We have one that's close by. That's a liquor store.
Okay,
a beer
yeah.
distributor.
It's kind of similar concept. You can drive through both sides, and there's people inside this little store. They go out and grab you little things, little teas and milks and whatever have you. They got a whole bunch.
Those
of
are
crap.
sick.
Yeah, so I worked there, and the dude one night was like, "Yeah."
I have seen this actually.
Yeah, actually, the one. That's the new one that was built right around the corner from us. That was whatever. That was the fancy
Yeah.
one. But so basically that's what you get to see what it is. But the little silo that they have, we go in there. That's where they store some things,
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, go to that one right there, the third one in. That's the one I actually worked at." Right
Oh
there.
shit.
Yeah.
We don't need to put that on stream. We don't want to dox anyone.
It's pretty sweet though. No, actually, I don't think that is the one I worked at. But
It
anyway,
looked like that.
It did look like
Yeah.
that. So he's like, go into the silo, get a bucket of steam. And I was like, it was super busy, so I'm like, yeah, you got it, man.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it.
I'm gonna kill this.
I'm trying to kill this job. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I go in there, and I'm like, I got nothing. So I go back in there, and I'm like, dude, can't find it. He's like, all right, write a note to the manager for the morning and let her know that we're out of buckets of steam and we're gonna need more. And I was like,
You
got it, chief.
Dude,
So I'm
it's
like,
on paper now?
Dear so and so, out of bucket of steam, whatever.
We need to
get
restock.
more. Yeah, exactly.
Yo.
Zach. Bam.
Oh, you signed it.
Absolutely.
Oh my god!
Next
Because you
morning.
want to get credit for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing a
I'm
good
trying
job.
to- trying to
I'm a
be-
good noodle.
I'm trying to be the best noodle, trying to get that gold star. You know what I mean? Next morning, I go into work. She's like, Zach, can you come to my office? Little tiny office. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, what's up?
I'm like, I'm getting a raise.
She's like, bucket of steam. And I'm like, yeah, we didn't have any. She's like, I'm like, fuck, sorry. Everybody just started laughing. I'm like,
Dude, that's too funny. Yeah, because at that moment, you're like, now how would
Bucket
you
of
get steam in
Yeah.
or out of this
That-
bucket?
yeah, I'm
Wait a
like-
minute.
that doesn't even work. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're like-
dry ice maybe, but
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for all you know, that's what it could have been.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
That-
That's my kind of
Yeah.
thinking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, you should have come in the next day with a bucket of dry ice
Yeah,
and been
right.
like, yeah,
Here's your
who's,
steam.
who's funny now?
Who's dumb now, sucker? Yeah, then they got me at the dealership. My uncle's friend used to work there. He was a service writer, and he's like, yo, go tell Kathy in the back of the body shop that you need a hernia test. I'm like, you got it. So I started walking out, and he's like, get your ass back here.
That's crazy.
Like, just always determined to be the best and not
I
even
know.
thinking,
Yeah, dude.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Consider it done, sir.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on it.
Yeah, so if you had ended up going into the military and boot camp, you'd be collecting exhaust samples from the Hummers.
I may not be the best, but I got you, man.
You're gonna get what you asked for.
Exactly. I'm reliable.
Yeah.
Why did you try to put a bag over the exhaust pipe? Because you told me to, sir.
Yeah, that was a real video, right? I think you sent it to me.
Yeah, they sent cadets to go get exhaust samples from the Humvees. They're holding fucking trash bags. They're just full of air.
That's awesome. And those are the guys protecting us.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Nah, just kidding.
Holding the line.
Yeah, right.
Bro, you think about it. We entrust our country's security to a bunch of over-caffeinated 18 to 21-year-olds
Yeah.
who are
These
running
guys
on
are slamming drinks like
no
this
sleep,
on a daily.
bang energy.
Yeah.
And this is how we've built our empire.
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's what our empire's built off of.
And
Believe it or not, it worked.
and
It
that's
works
why we
great.
win.
And that's why our enemies can never quite predict what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because we don't know what the fuck. We have no idea what those infantrymen are going to do once we set them free.
Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Hell yeah, brother.
Well, I know I've always said I feel like most of the time we do these podcasts we never do intros, but I figure I feel like I'm going against what I always say. I'm going to do a small intro. So just so thank you, Buckley, for being here. So Zac Buckley back again, another guest.
Back.
It's
Resident race car driver.
Wannabe.
Weekend warrior.
Yeah, there you go.
So second time on the podcast, dude. I really appreciate you coming back.
Yeah, man.
It's always fun. We've always enjoyed hanging out with you, and obviously you guys go way back. But yeah, dude. I know that you've had a few changes this year, but I mean, I just want to kind of give you the floor. I mean, what your job and what you've been up to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's see. I'm no longer at Nissan, back at Honda.
Yeah.
I tracked the EG finally 3 times this past year.
Yeah.
3 weekends at least, nothing crazy. Just trying to shake it all out, make sure it was good to go, stuff like that.
Found a couple things, fixed a couple things.
Yeah, learned a lot of things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
cold tires are not good.
yeah, no, especially when they even tell you that the track is cold and you still go out there and you're like, wee.
Well, I don't want to spoil that story too soon. So, but I did want to know. So you said, speaking of working at Swiss Farms store. So aside from Swiss Farms, you also worked at a body shop.
No. I worked at the when I started at Honda. There's a body shop in the back.
Oh, okay. So you've just always been a technician from day one.
Yeah.
Just working on
I went
cars.
from Swiss Farms to a pizza shop to
Sick.
my uncle's shop, my uncle's garage.
Yeah.
Working from like 7 p.m. till whenever you're done.
Yeah.
Sometimes midnight, sometimes 2 o'clock. I think the latest was like 3 a.m. I might have left, stuff like that. And then I got a Honda. And then went to Nissan. Now I'm back at Honda again.
Yeah.
Same Honda. So.
Yeah, I remember you told us a story of working with the other shop with your uncle. And just running that AC compressor bolt.
Oh
two different sizes.
It's my the famous story. The top and the bottom bolts were different lengths, so I just ripped it with the air ratchet. I'm like, boom. Then it got loose. I'm like, let's just keep going. Tight. Nice. Start it up, make sure it works. I'm like, AC's nice and cold.
Yeah.
Stop, shut it off. Why is there a puddle of oil on the floor? I'm like, get back up in the air, and he's like, dude. But that was a great, once again, to go back to that story. We fixed it with a bolt. We threaded the hole, put a bolt on it, JB welded it, and let it sit for like 2 days. Ran it up and down the street for like a week.
Yeah.
And we let it back go. And the guy was like, if you fix it, you fixed it, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in my book, that's steel again.
Yeah.
That's it.
It got sold
solid.
like 2 days later anyway.
Yeah.
So. Sorry if it didn't work out, buddy.
No, it's forged now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's an
JB Weld, it
upgrade.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I've had some pretty crazy times at that
Some
shop.
misadventures.
Yeah, starting out at that shop where you do like it's a night because it was my uncle's like side business, him and his business partner. So it was like done some crazy things at night when you can't go to AutoZone to get parts and this and that. You just kind of make it work when it's a wholesale guy. He's just like get it. We didn't do like sketchy shit like that all the time. It's like.
But it's not an easy work
environment.
You're really cutting your teeth there.
You know what I mean? You really got to
That's trial by fire.
Yeah, you can't break stuff all the time, and guess what? We broke stuff all the time.
So you're fixing stuff all the time.
Yeah, because you're tired and it's like you make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, and like not having like the best of environments, or like you said, just like the ability to be like, all right, we'll call something in Napa, you just don't have that.
Yeah, no, you got to make it work. So I've had some, I got plenty of crazy stories.
Real
there,
good at Band-Aids.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I set myself on fire one time.
Oh shit.
I was helping my uncle get an exhaust off a F-150. We got the torch, getting the nuts all free and everything, and. He's like, here, grab the torch. I'm like, all right. He's like, give me the air gun. Here you go. He's like, here's the air gun. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, all right, turn off the torch. And he's like, after you put everything down, put yourself out. And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're on fire. And I'm like, ah! My ATC hoodie, it was all frayed up and ripped up and everything. Just from working in it all the time. It caught fire. I guess I was holding the torch too close. It caught fire. And I'm like, whoa! And it wouldn't go out. And I ended up like throwing it off of me. I'm like stomping it out and everything. The floor's full of oil and grease. So it's like, dude, And my uncle is he's like on the floor just cracking up laughing.
Dude.
I'm like, I was caught on fire. He's like, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I love that. Just being like so calm, like to not freak you out. Just be like, hey, once you get everything put together, put yourself out.
Yeah.
You're on fire.
He's old, he's old school.
Nothing phases him.
Yeah,
anymore.
he's like, at that time he was, late 50s, and he was a Navy officer or whatever, and he's been through a lot, so it's like, nothing really went by him. He didn't really care.
This is Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. It was just we've done plenty of crazy things down at the shop. It was like, just put yourself out.
Yeah, you live that kind of life and live long enough, you're like, nothing scares you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Like it is what it is. So
that's so funny.
Yeah, no, plenty of crazy adventures. That's like, that's how I got good at what I do.
Exactly.
I learned a lot of crazy stuff there and big stuff there, and we didn't really do anything it's not like we were doing brakes and stuff like that every day. It's like, pull this motor out. And after you've done that, pull this trans out. After you've done that, pull this motor apart, you know? So.
But I can't even imagine, like, a better place, honestly, to cut your teeth, you know? A place where, like, you know, you're not allowed to make mistakes, but, like, you know, like, if you were making all those mistakes at a dealership, you'd have a different conversation.
Exactly.
Your uncle wouldn't be laughing at you. You know?
I made mistakes, and it's like, all right, it's going to cost us, but at least, like, you're going to learn how to fix it right, and we're not under an immense amount of pressure, you know. It is, and luckily, a lot of the work was, like, a wholesale guy, like 80% of our work. So this dude just, like, he'd bring us 7 cars from the auction at a time, and it's like, all right, fix them. Let us know when you're done. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, cool. So, so there was a little bit of a give and take there, you know. It wasn't that, like, if you don't do this right, you're done, you know.
Customer's got a flight in 3 days.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
customers
stuff like that.
waiting on this. They expect it.
I mean, the guy obviously wanted it back to get it back to auction and sell it, but, you know, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. If you got 3 done, you know, you still got the other 3 to go. It's good to go. So, yeah. So, it was fun. It was fun to learn stuff like that.
Right.
You know? It's not always the same car, too. Like, I'm always working on a Honda. I mean, which is nice, you know.
That's when you really learn the car.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and that's why, like, people are like, why do you hate Ford so much? It's like, because I worked on a lot of Fords. And I wanted to hurt myself. I was okay with being on fire when I had to work on them.
You know, if you had never worked at Honda, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Because my first job was not my first job, my first car job was at a Dodge dealership.
Yeah.
And you know how, like, they can be.
I worked on those too.
And I'm like, oh, this is just normal. So you put up with it. And then I made the same mistake you did. I got a job at a Honda dealership, and I saw how good it could be.
And you saw how they're all put together like a Lego. You know what I mean?
And then, you know, Kia, for all their shit that I give them, Kia and Hyundai, they're easy cars to work on.
As much as they, like, blow up just being taken off a freaking truck. You know what I mean? Brand new with 2 miles on the motor.
No, like, true story. I PDI'd a Telluride. And, you know, it was fine on my test drive, but then the customer went and test drove it a couple, like, days later, and it had to get towed back because one of the trans lines blew off because the factory forgot to put a fucking hose clamp on it.
Dude, that's nuts.
Like, I get it. I'm supposed to look over the car, but I'm not checking every tiny line for a fucking hose clamp.
You're not bolting the thing. You know? So.
I think I missed like replumb the transmission lines on the PDI sheet.
Sorry, like, I didn't see that in a checklist under, like, make sure that, you know, the
so I don't think the customer bought a Telluride after that.
Probably not. No. That's funny because I had when I was at Nissan, I had a Hyundai come in. And I think it was just like an inspection and like an oil change or something like that.
So an engine.
And then there was like I think they did have a concern on there, but I was like, all right, let's just go drive it and see what happens, you know. Started up, I'm like, it actually doesn't sound too bad, you know. Nice cold start, and like making sure it runs around. I'm like, let's go take it on a test drive, you know. Go down the street, get to our little turnaround spot. And as I go to make the right turn to get into the turnaround spot, I look down at the gauge cluster, see the little red oil can light come on. I'm like, let me get back to the shop ASAP. So do my little turnaround, go back onto the road, and like try to get, you know, up to speed with traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Where did the throttle go, you know? And then it just goes boom. I'm like, no, the motor just blew up on a test drive. What do I do? Throw it in neutral. I just coasted the whole block. Coasted right back into the dealership. Ran around the front. Got all the way to the garage door and stopped. You know, I had to wait for it to open. Anyway. So I'm like, stuck my head out the window. I'm like, yo, Fluff, can I get a push? He's like, what happened? I'm like, blew up.
Another one.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I could have told you that, you know.
Yeah, because he worked at Hyundai and Kia as well. I worked with him.
He's the one that told me all the stories about him. You know? So being Mr. Hyundai Master Tech guy. So.
I mean, I've had engines out of the box knock.
Well, he would tell me when they come brand new off the truck, they go to bring them to the dealership. He was like, there was a couple times the guy goes to start them up to get them off the truck, and it blows up immediately. It's like, dude, not even 2 miles on the car? That's insane.
I mean, to be able to be a fly on the wall inside the factory overseas.
Dude, I would kill for that now. I want to know what's going on.
Nuts.
Like, yo, pay me the money. I'll build these motors.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Well, they're probably not getting paid. What you would think.
Right?
So you went from your uncle's shop to Honda, or
Yeah. I had like so many job offers because he worked for Toyota, Constelli Toyota for like 30 years.
Wow.
And then his business partner was with Ford for like 30 years.
Wow.
So yeah, there was plenty of people in and out offering me jobs for Ford.
Yeah.
And this was like back when I was 21, I think. So you're looking at 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I hate that.
I know. Right? But even then, they're like, yo, I'll get you in the Ford. You start training as the trans guy. Start you off at like 40 an hour.
Whoa.
This was 10 years ago. So I can only imagine what I'd be like making now.
So
but
why
I'm
didn't
like,
you?
I don't know, I'm working on no Fords, doing transes and stuff like that.
Dude.
No.
Just giant boxes.
Yeah, no. Rust boxes that come in, all these plow trucks.
No. See, you should have been looking forward because now they blow up new before they get rusted.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Because even my uncle's business partner, he was like, he's like, it's not that bad because he was the trans guy at another Ford dealership. He was the master head guy, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, it's actually not that bad because usually they do come in like with only a few thousand miles on them. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, they're not. He's like, they're really not holding up as well. He's like, after that, they usually don't ever come back. But he's like, sometimes I have seen them back a few times.
You know why they don't come back? Because the guy fucking sold it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. That's what one buddy says. He's like, people always bring up how like Ford sells the most or whatever. And my buddy's like, yeah, but they don't count in the fact that they trade them ball back in for another Chevy.
Yeah, they all start with a Ford.
I was like, dude, I always do get F-150s in on like trade-ins, like used car checks and stuff like that, you know?
Dude, 40 an hour, like, so 10 years ago, I was making $13.25 an hour.
Yeah, I was probably not that far off.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's, dude, $40. I would have done anything in four walls for $40 an hour. Anything.
There's I can't tell you how many jobs I've turned down that were like that meant that like
big bucks.
Yeah, like I remember I had a friend, her dad worked for like some company putting together exhaust systems. Like he would work on diesel engines on like the big old stands or whatever. He would make the stands for them, and then he would make exhaust for them to test out like O2 stuff. So I guess like emission things. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's like, dude, I can get you in third shift. Start you at like $70,000 a year.
Oh fuck.
And like that's I think I just started at Honda at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, third shift is rough.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have like nobody to talk to. I'm like, I'm good. But then like now I sit there and I'm like,
son of a bitch.
Racing on the weekend.
Like,
I don't really talk to anybody now.
Yeah, I was like, with the life that I live now, I was like, I don't go anywhere, I don't do anything, you know, I just race and work.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
third shift is rough.
Yeah,
but I mean, leaving Honda is like asking someone to get up at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
you know
like I loved it so
leaving
much.
Leaving your warm pillow is the Honda.
Yeah, like I
Honda
thought like at the time, because I was making, you know, at the time I thought decent money. You know, it was the most I've ever made at least at the time, and I was like, yeah, this is great. You know, I'm learning how to work on cart. You know, and
it's
like,
deceiving at first because you start making decent money immediately.
Yeah.
While everyone else is going to college and sinking themselves.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
It's a fucking trap.
Yeah, I was like, here I am. I'm like, everybody's still stuck in school. I'm out in the workforce. I'm making more money.
Yeah.
And then they come out, and if they get lucky enough to land a job, they're making six digits, and you're like, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, half of them are, you know, they do, and it's like they're already working from home. They're not waking up every morning like, I can move again, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude,
like,
I'm feeling that hard.
Exactly, you know, so it's like, but I still like what I do.
I don't know, I feel like I got a lot of very essential skills out of it.
Yeah.
And an appreciation for actual work.
Yeah, because you know what? It's funny, like, now where I'm, like, it's not like I'm, like, you know, top dog or anything, but, like, I'm not bad, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I get, like, young guys. They come up and they ask you questions on how to do things. And it's like, well, I'm in that position now.
Yeah,
Like, I'm that guy.
Feels cool.
Yeah, that
They'll give
like,
me some fallopian tubes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, now I get to go. Yo, give me the bucket of steam, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird that you get to that position and
and you have information in your head that you like didn't even really realize you had. And they're asking, you're like, oh, it's this, and then like they walk away, and you're like, how the fuck did I know that?
Yeah. I remember at Nissan, like the one kid that worked next to me, he was a cool dude, Marcos, and he pulls in a car and he's like, it's not doing something or whatever. I forget exactly what it was. And I'm like, sounds like you got no belt on the car. And he pops open the hood and he looks down. He's like, yo, dude, how'd you know that? And I'm like,
battery lights on.
Wizard.
You got no power. Wizard.
Yeah, wizard. I was like, it just comes with the experience.
No, you know what you gotta do. You get any more young kids, you gotta show them the turbo encabulator video and be like, look, you stay in this industry long enough, you'll understand every fucking word this guy says.
Yeah, exactly. You start watching Engineer and Explain, you get the guy now. You know what I mean?
Because I remember, who was our Autotrans teacher? Devereaux.
Yeah. Well, I think I had a different one because that was my last class.
What?
That's when we got split up. Yeah, I was in there.
We got split for Autotrans?
Yeah, we had manual trans.
We did a manual
trans. That was our first class.
And driveline. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit. But I remember, I think it was him that pulled up that video. Because we were in automatic trans class. It's the Chrysler Turbo encabulator.
Yeah. I remember you guys showing me
just like,
that,
by the time you're done with my class, you'll understand this video. And we're just like, because like at that point, for me, automatic transmissions were fucking magic boxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
No idea how they fucking did anything. So I'm sitting there like,
all the fake words. You're like, I have to take it for what it is.
Preambulated famulite. Yeah.
Sun gear. Word.
So you did Honda for a while then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started in 2015.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, besides the 2.5 year at Nissan, which I kind of regret, but
yeah. I think actually you were talking about I think we cut you off on the diesel truck thing, exhaust.
Oh,
yeah.
I think we did. Well, no, you didn't cut me off. I really wasn't much on that. It was just. He was like, you got to monitor like O2 readings. You really got to know how they work or whatever.
I think he said everything. He said it was going to be like $70K a year.
Yeah, $70K a year. It was just, a big regret on that. That was pretty much it. But he knew that I had like a diesel background at ATC or whatever, which was just that class. It's not like I ever really worked on diesels or anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like you give me a diesel now, I'm like, I can figure it out. I probably replace a part or two, but if you need anything like diagnosed, I might not be able to do it,
Dude, same boat for me from machine shop. Like, I understand that degreeing a cam is something you do.
Yeah, oh my God, I wish I would have learned that because I could really use that. I didn't degree the cams on the B series when I put those in.
I mean, typically on like a lot of modern cars, though, I think they go in one way. I mean, you can get the adjustable cam gear.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got. I got all that.
That's different
stuff.
from old school degree. Yeah. That's something entirely different. I don't even remember exactly what it is.
But it's funny because like people ask me that. They're like, "Did you degree the cams when you built that motor?" I was like, just kind of put it on there, man. Now it rips nuts.
I degreed it to factory spec.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of how I looked at it. I was like, I worked at Honda when I built the motor, so it's like I think I had everything there.
Now I do have a question for you, just because I'm interested.
Hit me.
How long was it until you felt confident that you knew what the hell you were even doing?
What, like
on cars?
On cars?
Because for me, I think it was around year 7 or 8 that was finally like. Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
That's a good question, dude.
Like at that point, for me, it was if I got a job, it wasn't like, can I do this? It was how long is this going to take?
Oh man, I think that's actually probably very recent. To be honest with you, you're probably not that far off. Like, I've probably been in it for what, like.
If you started when I did, you'd be in it about 10 years now.
Yeah, It's
no, I was at 9 years when I left.
Yeah,
it's been 4 years since then.
Yeah, I can honestly.
So you're 13 years.
Yeah,
or so.
I can honestly say about roughly that if you include everything else. But I'm probably not. Yeah, it's where a point to where I'm like not panicking about a job or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
becomes. It's no longer like, can I actually do this? It's just like
that only comes now. It's if I like fail like a first diagnosis or something. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like,
well, even then,
that
like,
didn't fix it. I'm like,
for the at the end of my career, on cars, like if I missed on the first shot, it was like, okay, well, moving on to the next. It's not like, geez, now what? It's like, all right, what's next?
Sometimes I still beat myself up because I try to strive for that.
You don't want to
fucking
miss.
Yeah,
you never want to miss. But it doesn't become that panicky. Like, oh God, what is it now?
Yeah, no, I won't panic. I'll just get real silent. I'll just be like,
and then you buckle down. And you just start tracing shit out again.
Yeah. Then I lock in, and you're just like, all right, let's figure this out.
Yeah, that took me like till like
help,
8 years. Like it was like my last year doing it. I'm like, I can fucking.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not too far off. Probably like. It was probably when I got the Nissan, to be honest with you, because I went, like, I had
you
so
had that
much
change of scenery, and you're like, I can still do this.
I had so much mentorship at Honda, and like everybody there, you could, all my guys I could rely on, all my friends, what I mean? Like, like I joke around with my buddy Josh, like, I call him Sorichiro Honda himself, because he's very humble, but like
he's a guru.
He's a guru, you know what I mean? Like he knows what he's fucking doing. He knows what he's talking about. So it's like he was like more or less my mentor, you know what I mean? Like, so, I try to strive to be that perfectness, so it's just funny how that goes, you know what I mean? So
I was the same way. It's funny you brought that up because it was literally like 7 years into doing HVAC.
Yeah.
And that was like the first, which like I feel like you master nothing, but like that was the first time where like at my job I felt like it didn't matter what you gave me, I had the tools to figure it out.
Exactly.
And
that's kind of
I didn't know everything, but I could.
So consensus is like 7, 8, 9 years, somewhere around that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's when I left Honda was after 7.5 years. So I get the Nissan, and it's like I don't have that mentorship anymore. I don't have like.
But you're doing fine.
Like I gotta kind of prove that I know what I know because I just talked a big game. I got hired for something. You know what I mean? Like. Did I still ask for help? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know a Nissan like I know a Honda,
at that point, it's procedural help. Like, I don't know how you guys do things or where this is on the scan tool.
And that's pretty much what it always just came down. It's like, yes, I know what I'm doing. Just show me the way, the Nissan way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
So, and that's pretty much
And that takes some time too.
Yeah.
Every time like I switched jobs, which was often. In that field,
it
was just like
you did.
I'm gonna ask you, whoever I was like asking from, I'm like, I'm gonna ask you the dumbest fucking questions for like 2 weeks straight. Just bear with me.
You know what, man? And like
maybe 2 months.
Yeah. And you know what though, but my mom always said that to me. She's like, "There's never a dumb question. Just you don't want to fuck things up, And
you say that.
Yeah, no, and trust me, I've been asked some dumb questions, and I've probably. Asked some. I remember when I first started at Honda, and they let me inspect cars. Like finally, because I always had the license since we were at ATC. I was like, "Hey, can you show me how to put on these stickers?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like,
"Look, they only go on once. It's gonna fuck them up. I don't want to do a reissue."
Exactly. I'm like, "Dude, I've never done this. Like, I could obviously scrape them off." I'm like, "But how?" Like,
how do you get them so neat?
Show me a way, So he showed me how he did it, and I'm like, been doing it that same way ever since. You know what I mean?
I used to put them on individually, and then my O'Flaherty.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how we used to do it on show cars, and he showed me peel them, stick them together as little overlap as possible.
Yeah. I know plenty of people. Yeah. There's a lot of people did that at Nissan, but I do it individually, where you just kind of like peel back, slap them on, peel it back, slap them on right next to the other. So it's always square and perfect. Yeah. But Honda's nice because the windshields had the little logo right there at the bottom, so I get the logo. Get the 2 stickers like right in between the logos. So
kind of like an aim.
Yeah. Like I'm OCD as a you know what I mean? But it's pretty funny how that works out, But probably like to answer your question, probably got comfortable probably when I got the Nissan because like I said, I just felt like I had to prove myself, you know. So it's like here you could do this, right? It's like I could do that.
I knew that I had like. Made it like I'm now a professional in this career when the shop foreman at Kia asked me for my opinion on an electrical problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, He's like, yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. Yeah, you were always the guy with electrical.
I still am.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
still
it's
are.
fucking lonely at the top when I can't figure something out. I'm just like,
that, dude.
Wait, who? Yeah,
I'll give you
who
Josh's
are
number.
ya?
You can collab with him on
Oh,
that. He's
dude,
pretty good on that.
Because
He's
like
my guy.
I still work with Wes a lot,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I'll
I
go
know
to
you
his
do.
shop
Yeah, I
all
know
the
he
fucking
loves
time.
you. Yeah, yeah.
and like if he's calling me in, it's because he can't figure it out.
Exactly.
So if I can't figure it out, it's like,
Yeah, who do you call?
Yeah, exactly. It's like what happens when the god himself. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like oof.
yeah, that's okay. I gotta fucking buckle down and like
Yeah,
back to
really
basics. What's
lock
going
in.
on
Yeah.
here?
Mhm. Yeah, you end up figuring it out though.
Yeah.
You know, it's always go back to basics.
It's like, okay,
You'll get
Wes,
there.
I need 5 different wiring diagrams, and I need to know exactly what you did and why this wire's hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've always said like from the beginning that like, you know, no matter how hard it gets on like some weeks where it is nice that part of being able to like work with Wes just kind of keeps you fresh. You
Yeah.
never left like
Yeah,
working on
especially when you don't
cars
do it
because that
anymore,
yeah,
know?
because that's a muscle.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, for
that's
sure.
crazy. Like you stop, that's it. You know,
Yep,
like
yep, yeah, oh, yeah,
And
no,
I'm
for
sure there's bits of like
there's some
my
pieces
knowledge that
fell
have
off.
atrophied
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I've replaced those with carburetors and points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just traveled back in time to old
Yeah.
technology,
Yeah.
the World Wide World.
Now that I do it for fun, I don't want to fuck with that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
I
it's
know
just-
what you mean.
I want it to be a dumb machine. I don't even want it to know something's
yeah,
wrong.
no.
I'll determine that something's
Yeah,
wrong.
I'll tell you what's going on.
That's why I love my Buick. It ran on 5 cylinders for 5 fucking years.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
complain once.
Oh man, yeah, it's funny that kind of
Like,
stuff. You
I
know?
think something's wrong over it. Nah, you're fine. Keep going.
Hush now, honey. We're almost there.
Oh,
okay.
honey,
Yeah,
it's
it's okay.
fine. You're doing great.
I know that's how I feel like with the cars that the attention awareness and like the self-driving with the lane keep assist and like that.
I fucking
Like you
hate
start to
radars.
drift and it like beep 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 beep. It's like, you know, you don't tell me how close I am to the
Yeah.
lane.
No, it's not
alright?
even that. They suck.
All right, yeah,
They're
exactly.
fucking terrible. I remember
Well,
doing PDIs for
yeah.
Kia, and they had 2 separate systems. They had lane keep assist, and then they had lane departure warning.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
they were
yeah.
2
Separate
completely isolated systems that did not talk to each other.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty
I
bad.
remember one road in particular on our test drive, our test loop. The fucking lane keep assist would push me into the line, and then the lane departure warning would be yelling at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking doing
Yeah,
this.
it's fine.
I know the last place I worked at, there was a guy, and there was like an independent shop, so we worked on everything, and he's got like some Jeep, and he was we had 2 foremans, and he was like, I was just walking through the shop, and I was like, what are you doing? He had a scan tool out, and he's like, I'm trying to talk to this like mirror module. It's like, this is what you want to do the rest of your life? You want to be sitting here talking to modules for a fucking mirror? Is this
sit here
really
talking
what
to
you want to do?
computers?
He's like, you can leave anytime. Get out. This is
out while the
just fucking
getting's good.
modules. It's all modules. It's stupid.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's just fucking modules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
by
had,
the way, your brake light's out. I know you replaced the bulb, but I have an error code, so I'm not going to let the bulb work.
Oh man.
True story.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got a funny story about replacing a bulb. Not really that funny, but it was funny the other day. A customer came in, and he's like, low beam bulb not working, replace bulb, check fused already, diagnose what's going on. I'm like, all right, check it out. Open up the hood, turn on the lights. Sure enough, the one light, low beam's not working, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, all right, let me check it out real quick. Look around. Don't touch anything. Just look around at all the wiring first. Make sure it's not been messed with. Like, somebody's not in there, like,
The obvious
yeah,
things,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, trying to make an LED work or something
Yeah,
like
nothing
that.
like finding wire nuts on your car.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I'm making sure nothing's been touched.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, the household electrician stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, we use wire
Yeah.
nuts. That's
Yeah.
fine for our trade.
Yeah.
They don't belong anywhere on a fucking car.
Exactly.
dude.
Oh, I've seen it so many times. So, yeah, looking around, I'm like, all right, the wires look pretty top notch. I'm like, all right, let me see. Pull out the bulb and everything, and I'm like looking at the bulb. I'm like, this is the original bulb.
Oh
The
shit.
filament's blown. I'm like, this guy never replaced it. He never checked the fuse. I'm like,
Yeah.
So let me, go in my toolbox. I got
He's
an
just
extra
trying to
bulb.
cost himself more money.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm,
$100
like, trying
a
to, yeah, I'm
diag.
like, you wanted me to diagnose? I'm like, it's $200 and some odd dollars for me to diagnose it. I'm like, you really wanted to spend that money, bud? So I grabbed the bulb out of my toolbox. Luckily, I had the same one. Popped it
Yeah.
in, turned it on. I'm like, it works.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, yeah, you
Dude, I had
really
a story
did your own
like
work.
that. I have a story like that too, and I think I've told it on the podcast, but I love telling it.
Yeah.
So I'm working at an independent shop in this.
An intimate shop.
Yeah, an intimate shop.
Nice.
Very intimate. That's where I met Wes, and we're still.
Welcome to the intimate shop.
But yeah, this
Yes,
2004 Toyota Highlander comes in. Now I want to preface this by saying this is not a new to them car.
Yeah.
They've had this car for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead of summer. It's hot out, and they're complaining that the AC is not working. It's blowing warm. It's like, okay, not uncommon. It's an older car. It might have a leak, whatever. So I get in, and the first thing I do, first step, verify the complaint. So I get in, and I bring the car in, and sure enough, it's blowing, but it's not cold. And I look down, and the AC light's not on. So I push the AC button. It lights up. And now I've got 38-degree air coming out of the vents.
Dude, I swear, people just forget how to work their cars.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And we'll take the money.
Yeah,
Take the money and run.
Absolutely.
Now, I do have another fun story. Now, every technician's favorite term is ever since.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Ever
love
since
those
you
ones.
did this.
Yeah.
Well, I had an ever since where I was the complainee. And this one's fun.
Finally, how
You're probably going to remember. You're going to remember this. You're probably going to remember this. So, I had let Fluff drive my CRV, the manual one, for like a couple months or something, or a week or something. I forget. He was driving my car.
Yeah.
And while he was driving it, a headlight burnt out.
Okay.
Now, he offered to replace it. I'm like, you don't have to. He was like, nah, I got it. It's a fucking light bulb, whatever. Yeah, I was driving it when it went out. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
So he did. Mm-hmm. And then I got the car back not that long after. And ever since he did my headlight, it would pop out of second.
Bro. What a complaint.
Ever since you changed my headlight, the car now pops out of second gear.
That's so funny because that's exactly what people do.
But do you remember this?
I think so. Yeah.
He had dropped the old bulb and I guess forgot about it, and it fell in my shift linkage and wasn't allowing second gear to engage completely.
Yep.
Bro.
So it would pop out a second.
Yeah, it's like that little last metal.
Yeah, that
bit,
last
you know
little
what I mean?
millimeter to fully seat the gear.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it just
I'm like,
dropped
that's
it
a
in there.
fucking hell of a ever since.
And it totally makes sense knowing Fluff now because it's like, Fluff's probably like, I can't find it.
Yeah. It went into the void.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the shift linkage isn't it's under the intake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would have done the same thing though.
Right. That's not.
So you it's on the ground.
It's like, well,
later.
I did your bulb. All right.
I would have been in the car stay in second.
Well, it didn't happen all the time, so he might not even have had it happen.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
It wasn't an all the time thing, but every now and again, maybe the heat expanded the cable, so it had a little more slack, and you needed that last little millimeter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would it have a chance to spin around at all?
No, it was pretty well wedged.
Okay. I didn't know if that was
Hondas and their shifters pretty tight.
Yeah.
And it was a cable linkage.
It is kind of a miracle that it even did that in the first place.
Yeah, because
fun.
You know how transmission cases are? They've got the webbing to give it extra rigidity.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it was right in a little square.
Right. Yeah.
Just hanging out.
Damn.
In a little pocket.
Yeah.
So that's the craziest ever since story that I've got. It happened to me.
That's wild.
Yeah. No, I haven't really had anything too crazy like that. It's usually always something way left field. And it's yeah, we worked on your headlight. They had nothing to do with the trans, And it's usually something completely separate issue. They don't want to pay for it.
I overheard, secondhand overheard that happen when I worked at Honda.
Oh, yeah.
Lady drops her, I think it was a Honda Pilot. Often, you know how Honda dashboards are. They have the drive, park, neutral, all that shit.
Yeah.
And when she picked it up, she's like, the drive indicator's not lighting up.
Okay.
It wasn't flashing, which says, something's wrong.
Happens, yeah.
It just wasn't lighting up. And
that's what I was expecting to say.
The service advisor looks at it, and he goes, oh, yeah, the bulb must have burnt out. We can repair that, but, obviously we have to pull the cluster and take apart the dash. It's going to cost money. She's like, but it wasn't burnt out when I dropped it off.
Oh.
He's like, it's a light bulb. They burn out.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, but it wasn't like that when I dropped the car off.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not on us. It's a light bulb.
What do you want me to do?
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People love to do stuff like that.
Bro, that's nuts.
And to be fair, it would have been expensive because you have to take the fucking dash apart.
Fuck yeah.
No,
and
yeah.
and that's always a hazard. who knows what you're going to break
Yeah.
on the way in or
now
out.
the headlight indicator doesn't work.
Especially like an older one or something.
Yeah, it was like a 2004 Pilot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Or like worse, and like if you're not at a dealer and like you get the bulb, you pull everything apart and it's the wrong bulb.
Yeah.
Now it stays
Yeah,
apart and now
exactly.
it's stuck in your bag. It's
Yeah.
fuck trying to figure out how to pull it out without a dash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
funny.
fuck that.
But yeah, she
I-
just like I know what she was trying to do, but it makes you look stupid.
obviously.
It makes you look so stupid. Like,
Oh yeah.
do you not comprehend that light bulbs burn out? Have you never seen a light bulb in your life?
Yeah.
They don't give you a warning. They don't give you a heads up like, hey, I'm going to burn
Yeah.
out now. They just work
That's
until
the lady,
they don't.
Yeah, that's the lady in the grocery line that's like not going to give up until you discount the dented can.
Oh, yeah,
like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Or,
Like,
you know, accept her expired coupon.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
People are just nuts, man. You know.
I was in here last week and they accepted my coupon. you know, like,
It wasn't
that's-
expired last week.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but they took
Exactly.
it last week. Yeah, that's terrible.
It's like, you're not making a point. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Yeah.
like, just let it go, man. Just let
It's
it
like,
go.
are you fucking with me?
Am I on
fucking with me? Am I on phone?
Dude, that's like the other day. I walked into the office and my manager was giving a customer a call, and they dropped their car. We have a fuel pump recall, so
Yeah.
we're doing fuel pumps a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
And they dropped it off on the gate on the dash. It said 7 miles to empty. Well, when we take the fuel pump out, there's a good little chunk of gas that's sitting in the plastic thing, you know.
Right.
So it's like, yo, when we take that out, there's a good possibility that 7 miles to empty is going to be dumped out into the thing. So like,
Yeah.
and we got to test drive the car after, so you might not have any gas when you come to pick it up, you know.
Yeah.
He's just giving her a heads up, like you might either want to bring a gas can, or we can go get gas, or you can come pick up the car and drop it back off, or whatever, you know. All of a sudden, it was like a cartoon. You heard
Oh.
yelling, out of the phone. And it's like, man, I'm just trying to let you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you dropped it off for a fuel.
You're like, you're going to throw out my gas and not replace it?
Yeah, yeah.
It had gas.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god,
oh,
it was
no.
like, and like, yeah, oh dude, it was so bad. I'm like, I can't believe, like, you're just trying to give her a heads up, like,
Yeah,
yo,
dude.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, no, I felt bad for him. You know, it was like just trying to be a nice person. And it's like, what do you mean?
I had the opposite problem.
Okay.
When I was working at that independent shop. We did fleet work for this one company that I'm not going to say because I have nothing but disparaging things to say about them. Their drivers were not intelligent. Most of them probably barely spoke English. But we had this one Chrysler 300. The fuel gauge had stopped working.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is a fleet vehicle, and they use it to transport people. So
It's got to be safe.
I tell them, I'm like, all right, look, make sure that you burn a good bit of gas before you bring in this, because I'd done that the sender on these cars. It was a Chrysler 300. I've done the sender on it before, and like if the tank's full, it gushes fuel into the back seat. Like it's the sender's below the fuel level.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need you to like burn some gas off before you bring this in. Like make sure that you burn some gas off before you bring it in. I don't even want to touch it right now because I don't want your car to reek of gasoline when you go to pick people up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, okay.
Makes sense, right?
So he leaves, and then a couple days later he comes back, and I go to pop the thing off, and as soon as I pop the lock ring, I see fuel just pooling up.
Oh, no.
I'm like, nope, and I fucking lock it. I'm like, dude, I'm like, when did you fill up? He's like, oh, like a couple hours ago.
Right before I came in.
I'm like, no.
Yeah. You do
Like, I'm like,
you do
go
the
drive
old-
the car. Come back in a couple days.
No, you do the old Ferris Bueller trick. You
Yeah.
pop the wheels up and just put the brake on the gas pedal. Just,
No, I send him away again. And then he
Yeah.
comes back again. And like before I even crack
For like
the
20
thing open-
minutes.
Yeah, right.
No,
Like, no,
this is-
tomorrow.
He comes back like a week later.
Yeah.
And
Full.
before I even crack it, we ask him, when did you last fill up? This morning.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm done. Fuck it. So I ripped the back cushion off. I got to the access panel, put down some fucking pig mats,
Yeah.
and I just and pull it out, and sure enough, like the entire back seat and floor, including the carpet's
See,
like
dude,
soaked in gas.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's honestly kind of a dangerous position you put yourself in. Like, not even like
Oh no, I
callbacks, but like, dude, just you don't want to be in a fucking back seat of a car full of gas. Like, for the danger,
No.
for the fumes.
No, of course
Like,
not.
I mean,
No,
this
I
is,
aired-
none of this is good.
I aired the thing out. I aired it out.
Sure.
Like I
I
told
mean,
him,
look,
like,
unless you did it outside, like, you're fucked.
we aired the
You're
thing out
fucked.
for like an hour and a half after, and I soaked up as much of the liquid gasoline as I could.
Yeah.
And I think I pulled the back carpet up. as well. So, but like it's on the floor, it's on the fucking seat, and the sound deadening, it's soaked in there. It's not going to be super flammable, but it's going to stink.
Right.
This car reeked of gasoline. I'm like, this is as good as it's going to get. Here you go, bud. Have fucking fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to keep playing games.
This is like the third fucking time he's been back.
Exactly.
Did they care?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then,
obviously.
Thank God, because that's the only thing that makes this worse. Like, what happened? Why does it smell like gas? You guys messed something up. We're like, are you kidding? We've had this conversation twice, big guy.
No, we told him like, dude,
we sent you home.
Your car's gonna leak gas.
Yeah.
Either you leave and do not fucking fill it up, but I don't even trust you to do that. So
man, people don't get it.
You're gonna have to deal with the smell. He's like, oh, okay.
Crazy. Yeah. So you went from Nissan, and then you're back to Honda, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
back home.
back home to Honda.
Back home where I belong.
Yeah.
Nissan. Well, because I know you're a Nissan guy, so I don't want to be rude.
I mean, I'm like that one Nissan guy.
Yeah.
All the rest of them, like I've got no relation.
It's like I always said.
I just like 240s.
Yeah, exactly. I always said it, like the GTRs were the only thing keeping them alive, and then as soon as they discontinued it, look what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, we're bankrupt now.
It's Mitsubishi Part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Mitsubishi's tied with them.
Yeah, it's so bad, dude. It's like here
Yeah.
goes one of the big, big Japanese companies. It's like they're falling bad, you know.
I know, and I think I heard some rumors, obviously because of Nissan, like in such a bad way, that like a lot of these aftermarket parts are going to go away too.
Oh yeah,
because they do still make a lot of stuff for 240s. I mean,
well, I feel like that shouldn't affect the 240 market. They don't make 240s anymore already.
Well, no. but they still make parts for them. They have some stuff.
Nissan?
They have some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, they have some stuff. Yeah, I mean, I had like an OEM, like the Clutch Master was OEM. Like there was a couple like OEM boxes and bags and clutch stuff.
Well, you would think that the aftermarket wouldn't go away then. The aftermarket would step in on it for a car that's already got
I mean, well, the aftermarket's
an
got
aftermarket base.
Okay,
I mean,
but like there's aftermarket companies are already still there. I'm not saying that it's
Saturn,
but like it's
like a base like that though.
No.
Do you want to buy an aftermarket chain and timing gear set? I wouldn't.
Brother, you know the kind of vehicles I drive?
All right. Adrian,
he doesn't have a choice at this point.
Yeah. Although 90% of the parts I bought for the Model A are Ford licensed products.
But that's what I was about to say. Some things, it's not like, especially when you're going back to that. It's like, there's plenty of good reputable companies that are making.
Yeah, but I bought a distributor, a Ford licensed distributor for the 1929 model. No, it worked great.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. Never mind.
But yeah.
That's a Ford licensed product.
Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's our point.
Yeah, no, I'm contradicting myself here.
Okay.
I can still buy Ford like licensed parts, official Ford parts,
even though it's Ford,
for a 100-year-old car.
Yeah.
Well, this is a 100-year-old Ford. That's different from modern Ford.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, 350 Windsors, Clevelands, even the 302. They're all good stuff.
No, they're still junk. No, I'm just kidding.
I will fight you.
I know, it's okay. Sorry, dude. Chevy runs deep.
I say I'm not a GM guy, but I own like 3 GM products.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, my uncle's got
and
4.
my favorite is definitely a GM car.
My one uncle's got 4 muscle cars, so it's like it's all GMs. So it's just, it
I
will
will stand on business that Mopar's always been shit.
They're just kind of there, you know. They're like, we're keeping up.
Look, I had an open mind. I did, and then Alden bought his Chrysler, and it's had so many fucking problems.
Yeah, dude. Nah, they're cool. You know what I mean? Like, they got the big old cars with the big old motors.
A 440 Magnum.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. They make all the noises, and like they got the torques and stuff like that. But like Chevy and Ford,
so
just always kind of be up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean a high RPM 289 sounds fucking nasty.
Yeah, exactly.
The 350 needs no introduction.
And then all the racing, Ford's always done okay, Chevy's always done okay, you know what I mean? So can't go wrong with
Mopar had NASCAR for that brief shining moment with the
Man.
Superbird.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can't. I'll stand behind that one.
You can't take that from them.
There was me and Fluff were playing Forza for a little bit there. I was using the Dodge Daytona, and I was just like, every time I would be like, Daytona! It would always lose, but I'm like, Daytona!
I think when that car debuted, I think it did 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was the first NASCAR.
They made it like illegal and stuff like that in NASCAR. Like the thing was, it was pretty sweet. It is
amazing.
They did something.
Do you think about something that big? You're like, y'all did what?
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all were
It's
hitting
like, wait
200
a
miles an hour. When?
Where? And who saw it?
You did what in this cup?
Well, speaking of cars, so what do you have now? What is
Too much stuff. No,
Okay, I forget. I forget all the cars. I know you've had your muscle car.
You have a new car.
rounds.
You have a new car since you were last on the podcast.
Yeah, I own one of Adrian's cars now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm down to 4. I dwindled everything down, which is nice. I had the
Okay.
EF.
Not dwindled. You've distilled.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had like 6 or 7
But you
at
still have
one
the EF?
point. No, I got rid of
Okay.
that. Like, yeah, I had that, and I sold that, and then because I got a Versa when I was at Nissan for $130. And
Oh shit! Yeah, I seen you putting in that.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. 07 Versa or whatever. It
Yeah.
was stick shift, hatchback. You know, the thing
Fuck
was pretty
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
I fixed it for like $500, put a little bit more into it, and then sold it for like $2,300 or whatever to a guy I worked with because his trans blew. He's like, I'm done with these automatics. I need a manual again. I was like,
Yeah.
I got you.
I got a car for you, bud.
Yeah.
Because I was driving and I was like, I hate Nissans. I got to get rid of this thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I got rid of that, and now I started daily driving the EG, after I got done tracking that for the year.
Yeah.
The M3 broke for a little bit, but I fixed that. The header blew a giant hole in it when I went to go drive it one day. I, ripped it from a red light. I'm like, Mom, Mom. I'm like, who's blowing holes in my shit?
They're shooting at me.
Yeah. Luckily, my buddy was still at, he was working at Honda still that night, and I was like, yo, we got to put it on the lift real quick. And
Yeah.
sure enough, it was just a giant hole in the header, and I was like, got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But then with the EPA restrictions, it was hard to get a header. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah,
They're clamping down hard on shit.
yeah,
No
all
way.
the options went away. So there was like a few
so
options.
Aftermarket.
Yeah, aftermarket
Yeah.
wise. Yeah, so there was only a few options. And then
That's
the one option I
interesting.
did go with, they were like, yeah, we need pictures of your car. So I'm like, okay. I'll send
like
4
that,
pictures.
but-
They're like front, side, rear. Sounds good. So I sent them in, but I'm sending it in with a license plate on the back. I'm like, let me black that out.
Yeah.
Black that out. Send it in. They're like, yeah, we can see you blacked out the license plate. We can't sell this part to a registered vehicle. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like,
Wait a minute.
I'm like,
Wait,
if you-
how
I'm not going to say the company, but yeah.
Spread is this?
What?
EPA's been cracking down hard.
It's a Clean
on
Air
shit.
Act thing.
Holy shit! I'm just figuring out about this.
Now,
Yeah.
like if your car's like when I was buying when I bought the carburetor for my car,
Yeah.
I had to click a box that said that this car is either for off-road use only
Mm-hmm.
or pre-emissions.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, my car is pre-emissions.
In both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Off road, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, look, a little dirt ain't gonna stop me.
Yeah, no.
But,
no.
yeah,
they're
so-
cracking down heavy.
That's crazy. So like let's just pretend I'm gonna order a turbo.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna go good.
It might because it's just a turbo kit.
Yeah,
And they
Yeah.
can kind of get away
it's
with
not
that.
car specific
The tuning part's what's going to get you, though.
Why?
because
'Cause
it,
they don't-
it defeats emissions.
Defeats emissions.
It's
yeah.
got to be emissions compliant. They're cracking.
I'm not
down
even
so
gonna.
fucking
I'm not even
hard on
gonna
it.
say
Yeah.
what I had to
We
go
should.
through.
We
with
should.
the
We
tuning,
should.
yeah.
We're
So,
going
gentlemen-
to details off the pod.
Yeah.
We need to go back to pre. I think what was cut off here, 1974 or something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah, 71, I think.
Because those are unrestricted still,
70. Yeah, 74, I think. Yeah.
like pre-emissions.
Brother.
So
Yeah.
it's time to bring back carburetors.
Yeah.
Time to bring
Bro.
back
so like,
V8s.
so with the M3, like the header blew, and like this was,
Yeah.
talking
you
5
need
years.
you need
5
a
plus
fucking
years
EPA
ago.
compliant header.
Well, yeah. So 5+ years ago, I had maybe 5, 6, 7, 8
You had
options. Now it's like down to like 2 or 3. And the
Really?
one, like I said, the one company denied me. They were like, yeah, we can only sell it to a track car. I'm like, well, if you wanted photos of the car on track, that was a whole different story.
Yeah.
You didn't
yeah,
ask
dude,
for that.
Trust me.
Yeah, I was like, there's plenty of them. you know?
Yeah.
But I wasn't even going to argue.
Yeah.
I was like, it is what it is. I'm not going to fight it. If you can't sell me it, you can't sell me it. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I found another company that was able to sell me, like another company a really famous company they work with, makes the headers, and they were able to give me them, no questions asked.
That's crazy.
But it's not the one I wanted. But,
It
you
works.
got the car rolling. So.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
probably buy a factory replacement manifold.
Yeah, but see, I had a European-style header on the M3.
Allegedly.
I had. European style header
Yeah.
on the M3. So now it's an American style
And
header.
it's emissions compliant.
Yes.
That's crazy, dude.
The following part of this video is AI generated.
So yeah, now it's all righty right, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was like, dude, I remember a while ago I'd be looking around just for fun. It's like so many options now. It's like, yeah, dude, good luck. I can only imagine trying to build my EG now as opposed to
4 years ago?
or 5 years ago when I did it. Like I had plethora of options, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when I got the tuner and stuff, like I had to go through some things, you know what I mean? Click some boxes and whatnot. So
do you think that like that would be? I think it was more difficult because it was like maybe a European company, or like
no,
more
because
No,
it
this
was
is
an
an EPA
American
thing.
company. Everybody's
This is an
It was
EPA
an American company making a European style part.
right?
It's just European style. It wasn't
Right. So like if you wanted to buy a cat back today,
good luck.
no way.
No,
For the
you're
most
buying
part.
piping and you're taking someone who knows how to make shit.
Yeah, like people that like try to
Whoa, dude.
decat cars and
So-
everything, like with fancy downpipes.
People do
Good
that?
luck.
That is
Yeah, I know,
absurd.
right? Wait a second.
Well, they're for track use only.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct,
So
correct,
for off-road
correct.
use, for track
Correct.
race use, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's where
Correct,
those things
of
come
course.
And
in
honestly-
Of
handy.
course.
As fucked up as it is, this is the better of the two outcomes. I remember when they first started passing those bills, it was going to hit race cars, like track cars.
Yeah.
It already kind of has.
Yeah.
Because it's like, good luck trying to build anything for the track or the race. You know what I mean? Like, some things you
Dude.
can't get unless it is an unregistered vehicle like I went through,
Yeah.
Like, it just so happens that I got a damn license plate on my car,
That's nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, like when I say it was going to hit track cars, I mean like even the unregistered cars.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was just you weren't going to be able to do this shit.
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it didn't
Right,
matter if your
so-
car was for track use only. You were not allowed to touch the emission system.
Yeah.
Right. So at the track, they would say, "Look, you have an aftermarket exhaust. You can't run your car here."
Yeah, it was kind of getting to a point to where it's like,
It wasn't. It wouldn't
Because
even have been
that's
that.
the only
It
way to
was
regulate it. Is that the
I
tracks
guess,
would
yeah.
not allow you on track
Yeah.
if you didn't have a stock.
only
more or
because
less,
the
yeah.
EPA was going to bring the hammer
Yeah,
down on
right.
them.
On them.
yeah.
Right.
It
it's
wouldn't
not
have-
gonna be
it wouldn't
me.
have been
So
on
we're
them.
actually in
Might be me, but-
the better timeline, believe it or not.
This is scary.
It's kind of
And,
getting to a point to where it's like you're gonna get like the fastest car you're gonna get is what you can buy.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
which is
pretty much
fucking stupid.
You know.
Yeah. So pretty
Or-
soon we're already moving to
or
like
you
Puerto
buy a-
Rico
you
or
buy a pre-emissions
Dominican
car.
Republic here soon.
Exactly.
No,
to
Or,
do race
yeah,
car
You buy a
stuff.
pre-emissions car.
Yeah. Or you go classic, which kind of, it's kind of hard
Look,
sometimes.
no. Look, the boomers are dying off. These cars are getting cheaper
You're
because now
absolutely right.
it's Gen Xers who
You're
are buying
absolutely
fucking 90s Hondas for $60K.
Yeah. I know,
The
right?
market's shifting. They're becoming affordable. They're still not cheap, but they're becoming affordable.
It's like I said the last time I was
My
here.
buddy just bought a 66 Mustang Coupe.
Yeah.
It's a straight six automatic, but like
Yeah.
you can change that.
Of course. It's
But
like
he-
4 bolts.
But he bought that for like $3,000, $3,500,
Okay, yeah.
and like that's pre-emissions.
You're gonna put.
You can put whatever the hell you want in that.
Gonna do Tokyo drift. Style,
Wait
put
a
SR20
minute.
or
So if
RB
the
in it.
car, it all comes down to the car.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brother, we're back.
buy
Well, yeah.
a pre-emissions car. Do whatever the hell you
Brother.
want.
Remember how back in the day they were all drag
The
racing
EPA,
from
you
light
can
to
go
light?
now.
We're going straight back to that, dude.
Well, no,
Right,
it's not
right.
just that. Like Kylie Mackey's B-body Mopar. It's a Plymouth Satellite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He drifts
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's got E36 front suspension.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
you just
no,
gotta get
can.
creative.
You got. Of course, that's how they do it in Cuba.
That's exactly how they do it in Cuba.
Yeah, dude.
My car stopped running. Well, I have this stationary generator that still works. Do you want the engine out of that?
So you know that sunk boat in the river?
Yeah, we're gonna pull it out.
Just pull that big old 464 out of there.
464, nah, that's a fucking two-stroke four-cylinder diesel.
Oh man.
Well, boys, on this note, let's take a quick pee break. I gotta pee.
Sure.
And then
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna
that's
hop
fine.
back
Yeah,
in.
I mean, you got, what, 2 of your bullet points?
Yeah. Well,
We
back
can
from the
get
pee
more.
break, so I did want to go into like a lot of the stuff that like you had been working on with your car, and I think we went into it a little bit, but I just didn't get to like really ask you the nitty gritty questions on you building the engine for the Sierra Mist.
Uh-huh.
So like
We didn't cover that
'cause,
at
like,
all in the last podcast,
I think
did we?
we did. You know, he talked about building the engine and building it in Honda. When you were at Honda, you know, which is like it's got to kind of feel cool.
My first tour.
Yeah,
My
but I
first
mean,
tour.
Yeah, but your first tour in Honda, but But I mean, that also it's got to feel cool to be building an old B series engine, like under the same roof that probably a lot of those engines did get, that kind of work.
That's what was cool about that that motor in general, because the car that it came out of was always serviced at that Honda.
No way.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, when I look back at the history, it's all the records for it and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure it was bought. Not probably at that. Not because the dealership moved. It was in a different location before. So I mean, but generally in the same Honda franchise, it was mostly serviced. And same thing with the EF when I had that.
Nice.
Both one owner cars. So that motor's always been there being worked on. So it was cool.
Wait, that motor though didn't come from that hatch. It came from a Del Sol. Was it Del Sol?
That's what I mean. The Del Sol was always being serviced there. When I had the Del Sol. So,
What did you do with that Del Sol?
Got scrapped. Don't shut up. I don't want to hear it.
D series in there.
No, shut up. That was the plan because Sir Mist came with the D series.
Yeah.
So while the previous owner Josh, he still has that motor. He rebuilt it and it's sitting in his basement.
Is it a Z6?
Yes.
Okay.
So that thing actually does have a little pep in its step, hence the name.
Spicy little 4-cylinder.
Hence the previous name Pepsi, Pep SI.
Yeah.
It was a little peppy motor. So the plan was to take the B series, put it in the EG, and then buy that motor off of him and put it into the Del Sol.
Yeah.
But the lot manager at Honda was like,
too much.
Yeah, the general, because people were putting beater projects in the back lot because it's a huge lot at that place. Other people kind of ruined it, and then like at the time when I had permission to do the swap and everything like that there, from the manager and everything like that, but other people ruined it, and like there was a big freak out. He's like, everything's got to go, and I'm like, that doesn't have a motor in it.
So it's not going to go anywhere fast.
Yeah, I was like, and then at the time I didn't co-own a shop with my uncle, so I didn't have a place to put it, and I didn't have any room at the house, so because I had other things there.
Speaking of which, you got somewhere to put that BMW?
Yeah, I'm planning to get it out soon. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
So
I've been meaning to text West about it.
So the Del Sol, was that not something that was like sellable?
Dude, that's why I said don't talk about it.
Okay.
No, it was perfectly fine. The technician that worked there at the time, one of my buddies, Richie, he failed it for a state inspection because it had a small rust hole in the floor, like in the back somewhere. Like I think it was behind the passenger seat, like right before the wall.
Any hole that allows combustion gases to enter the cabin is failable.
And that's exactly what you would smell at a stoplight is exhaust gases, because the muffler was rotted off and broken. So it was right before the muffler, so the thing was loud and all the exhaust got, because it was a small car,
Right.
So,
but you can get acclimated to CO.
Exactly. So he was like, "This is not something I want," but he's like, "This is something Josh would be interested in." My buddy Josh, and he was like, "I don't have time or room for it," because I think he literally just bought his Type R or something like that, or he was doing something else with his other cars, whatever. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So he was like, "But Zach might want it," and I was like, I give him $300 for it, and the dude just so happened to be moving to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So he was like, "I kind of just want it gone," so I got a whole
B16.
factory B16 Del Sol for $300. That actually wasn't in rough shape, and everything worked. Everything didn't have any water leaks or anything like that. So that's why I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not keeping it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted an EG with a B series, and it's so bad. You know what I mean?
Honestly, dude, I like to think that even if you send it to a scrap yard, but what I figured out is that a lot of the times it doesn't matter what the condition of the car is. When you go to scrap it, it doesn't mean it got crushed.
Yeah, who knows where it's at?
Yeah, that thing probably hit the lot, and they were like, "We're gonna pull
Somebody
straws on who gets to get it." Yeah.
Like there's a Civic back there that drove in here, grab the engine out of that real quick, drop it in.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Or a CRV.
It's funny where I live at. Right at the end of the alleyway and across the street, there's this house that sits on the road pretty much, and there's a black Del Sol that looks like it has no motor in it, and I'm like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? I kind of always wanted to just stop by and be like, what is this and where did it come from? I'm sure I could pull up the VIN somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like B&H always had cars for sale, and they always had like a couple cars that were kind of put together, and like, yeah, you can buy the whole car if you want. It was like a kind of like a shell.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dude, that's how my brother got his first Cadillac. $500 out of a junkyard.
Yeah.
88
That's
Cadillac
sick.
DeVille. It was primer gray with
No
bright
way.
burgundy red interior, dude.
Big ass
Yeah,
Yes.
reverse went in it like 2 weeks later. So he just had to pull forward in every parking
You
spot.
don't need reverse.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. Yeah, it was great. That thing, I love that thing, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not keeping a hold of that and keeping it a factory B16. Because if I honestly just fixed the hole and cleaned it up a bit, it probably would have been like.
But it wouldn't be an EG hatch.
Exactly.
It never would be.
And that's kind of like what the thing that got me into the EG, because as you know, I was never really a Honda guy.
No, I tried. I tried hard.
Tried very hard. Yeah, absolutely. Was first seeing that car because my buddy Josh owned it. So I remember first starting at Honda, and it was in May. So by winter time, I remember him still bebopping in it, slammed on its nuts in the snow. You know what I mean? Like he's just like bebopping in it. Yeah, and I'm like, I want that car. And then he blows up the motor. Fast forward 4 years later, he goes to buy a brand new Type R, and he needs to get rid of it, or wants to get rid of it, and I'm just the right guy, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I remember like I tried real hard to get you to like appreciate him, and you never really did crack, despite constant pressure. But
no.
I remember you loved driving my Integra.
Yeah, that thing was sweet. Yeah, that thing was really cool. Yeah, just the CRV and everything was pretty cool. Just lowered on some steelies, and the thing would just corner through anything. You know, it was like, this thing's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then also just like seeing, like, because that's when I started getting into racing. It was like, I'm just watching everything and anything.
These little
and it's
Hondas
like,
fucking ripping.
yeah, you see these little EGs like going up against like big V8s, and it's like, they ain't backing down through any corner, and it's like, and then you see like the Kanjo, whatever guys in Japan, Tokyo, whatever, like just racing on the highway,
circuit.
like that, and it's like it's fully stripped out EGs with like maybe 1 or 2 seats with just regular old B16s, and they're just ripping, dude.
Yeah, dude, I love those videos, and you can like tell from the guy recording in like the passenger that he's not sitting on a seat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
bro,
and these dudes are just bebopping down the highway, just like ripping it, and like they ain't going, a million miles an hour with a fire-breathing Dragon V8, but like it's screaming its face off, like, and you're just moving in and out.
It's about the experience.
Yeah, and
more than anything.
that's what that car is. It's more about the experience. It's not about going.
Yeah,
fast,
you and me,
know?
Keith, we've got a coworker who's younger, and he's into BMWs.
Are we getting distracted?
A little bit, but he's gonna recognize this. But like, I've had plenty of talks with him when we're working together, where like, I just explained to him like, I don't go to a track very often. I'm not trying to lose my license. Driving a fast car does nothing for me because most of these fast cars feel like shit until you get over 100 miles an hour. It feels like
they're meant for.
Yeah, it's normal. It feels like you're just driving a car.
Mm-hmm.
But you get into a 74 Beetle with rust holes and brakes that don't quite work.
Now there's a new form of adrenaline,
and depending on what day it is,
different way.
Depending on what day it is, it might pull left or right under braking. You never quite know.
For real, dude.
And now you've got that adrenaline dump doing 40 miles an hour.
Just an adrenaline based off whether or not you're gonna live. Going to CVS.
And I don't want to distract us anymore, so I've got one more story related to that Beetle.
Okay.
I was driving home one day, and
phenomenal car.
You know the road that I live on.
Yeah.
If you go to Westchester, and you might even know it too. So
two
coming
uphills either way.
Yeah, and a Beetle.
Yeah, exactly. Car with maybe 40 horsepower.
It had 40 horsepower when it was new, and then I found out I didn't even have the split port engine. I had a single port engine, so God knows what I actually made. And like, quarter-inch of crank walk.
Yeah, exactly.
An honest 25.
Yeah, an honest 25 horsepower. She got up to 74.
Solid.
Felt like the end of the world.
So can a moped.
Yeah. But I remember I was coming home. So I was coming from Westchester going to where I live, coming up the hill past the cemetery.
Yeah.
And I'm behind this like Hyundai Veloster. And he sees me gaining on him, so he kind of guns it. Next thing I know, we're doing like 50, 55. through the cemetery and all that. And then I want to pull into Wawa to get like a drink, but he also pulls into Wawa. So I'm like, whatever. So I pull in behind him, and these two kids get out. And they're like, man, you're really flying up that, around those turns up that hill. Like, wait, is this thing worked? I'm like, no, it's kind of a piece of shit. I'm like,
it's working on getting up to 60.
I'm like,
it's working on survival.
The suspension bushings are gone. It clunks over bumps. I'm like, it's kind of a piece of shit. And like, I'm just being honest. But then after the fact, I realized like they're impressed with what I'm doing, and I'm shit talking my own car, which means I'm shit talking their car.
In a sense, when you want to look at it,
they felt like they were pushing it, and I'm tailgating them up this hill in my Beetle.
But is that shit talking to car? Or is that shit talking to driver?
That's worse.
Because
I'm trying not to be an asshole.
I'm
not trying to be an asshole on purpose. I'm like, no, my car's kind of a piece of. I'm thinking I'm being humble. Then after the fact, I'm like, oh.
I think I kind of came off being a little dick.
I called his car a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Hey, man, facts is facts.
Facts is facts.
Exactly.
Like 50 miles an hour on that. The speed limit is 45. We were doing 5 over.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I kind of did the same thing. Like when people see me like tracking the EG, they're like, oh man, that thing's fast. Like, what'd you do with it? I'm like, it's not fast. They're like, nah, man, you're keeping up pretty well. I'm like, it's got broken trailing arm suspension, bushings, like the thing's like barely idles sometimes.
Oh no, it's not fast. You just suck.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's like stock everything. Like I'm like, it ain't fast. They're like, it moves pretty good. I'm like, thank you.
And after that, you're like, oh.
Yeah,
wait.
like, and then people like, when they want to get their car ready, they're like, oh, I need to do this and that. And I'm like, just take one look at the car. It'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Is it gonna fall apart?
Yeah, your car's brand new. Mine's 30 years old with broken stuff. Like, I just send it.
So to pedal back. So you got when you went from just American cars, and then you went to a Honda. So you saw the Hondas. You worked with Honda. Like Josh obviously was a huge influence.
Yeah,
but you end up with this $300 Del Sol, and then it's like now it's time to just refresh the engine. Was it like start out refresh, or you were like, let's just build this thing?
So I always wanted to. Obviously getting into the EGs and stuff in the B series, what I eventually stumbled upon, as everybody does, especially with getting into older racing, is the spoon cars.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I started learning about that and watched videos on those and seeing.
I tried to tell you about that stuff.
Yeah, I tried. You did, brother. You definitely did. And just seeing the videos of these little EGs with a B16 putting out like 220 horsepower or something like that, revving up to a solid 11,000, 12,000 RPMs.
And that's a magical sound.
Just going for days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that can do that, you know what I mean? And the thing is just eating up everybody in a competition,
Right.
Like, you see it like kill an R32 and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like things like that, three-wheeling around a corner.
Yes.
It's like, you can do that in that thing,
Yeah.
So then, so the idea was like, okay, well, guess what? I have an American version of this motor. Let's find out the differences in what I need to do in order to make it. Now, in order to find any information on a spoon motor, you pretty much can't. I think they have all that locked down.
Yeah.
Unless you want to send it out and get it built for like 10 grand and then plus shipping fees and et cetera,
Right.
Which as a younger man, I really don't have the money to be doing all that,
Sure.
Did I spend half of that money doing it myself? Absolutely. But,
Yes.
it's a different story, so.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you did get to build it yourself, and and was that the first engine you had ever built?
Outside of school, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of school, yeah. Because, I mean, being at school, they have you practice on, an old Chevy 350 or something like that that's been molested, hands up and down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I got the diesel. I rebuilt, a Volvo 4-cylinder diesel,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But you're also with a group of guys, maybe you do this, and the other person does that, and the other person does that, this. You know what I mean? You go back and forth.
Very compartmentalized.
Exactly. Yeah. So as opposed to doing it myself, it's funny actually, because I went to engine mechanical class for Nissan. When I was working at Nissan, I went to that class down in Virginia IA or whatever. And, and that was basically the same thing, learning how to rebuild the motors for Nissan and how Nissan wants certain things done, et cetera, and learning about all those, little things and stuff.
Right.
All the engine mechanical stuff, So the teacher even said, at one point in the class, he's like, has anybody ever rebuilt their own motor and put it back in a car? Like, anybody from, like, scratch? And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy to raise my hand at this point, so I'm going to let it go. Like, I don't want that type of attention, So then later on, though, I got his attention. I'm like, hey, earlier you mentioned this. And I'm like, just want to let you know, like, I'm not really a Nissan guy, but I'm like, I did build my own motor, a own Honda motor. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I built it, and I've actually tracked the car this past year a few times. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's probably got about 7,000 on it now, like miles. He's like, wow, man, how do you feel about that? I'm like, to be honest with you, it kind of brings a tear to my eye when I really like think about it and like really like
I did this.
Yeah, because it's like, wow, I'm not that much of an idiot actually. Like I took this motor down to literally a bare block. There was nothing on it. And built it all back up again with fresh parts, seals, et cetera, et cetera.
And it worked.
And it works, and it still does. I just drove here in it, Like, I just hit 9,000 RPM like 5-6 times on the way here. Like, and now I've been daily driving the car ever since I got rid of my dailies. And, it's like...
Yeah, because you've got that car, you've got the BMW.
And the Camaro that's in limbo. It's
been in limbo for like a decade now.
Yeah,
what year was my first
what year
car?
Camaro?
Yeah.
It's a 95 Z28.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so it's got the LT1. It's automatic, but it was my first car when I was 16.
Yeah.
We bought it off of an Irishman getting deported for too many DUIs. I know that sounds like a fake story, but it was legit.
That's nuts.
It legit. It was a guy my stepdad worked with.
Yeah.
So we got it for
No, I mean, it's a 95 Camaro. Like, that tracks.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was green. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, it totally works,
I remember that car. I remember when it was driving still.
Yeah, the car was great. It's got fake Corvette rims on it and everything. Like, it looks cool, So,
Sweet.
it's just, if I can keep holding on to it and keep bopping it in places. But now it's found a good storage spot at my buddy Matt. He's agreed to, I pay him $100 a month for it. But he holds it at him and his dad have a huge, like, mile-long warehouse that they rent out to, like, construction guys. So it just kind of sits there. Yeah, Matt.
Okay.
Matt. Meerkat Matt.
Matt.
He's got an E36 sitting in there that I shouldn't even mention because I don't want anybody knowing about it because I'm trying to buy it off him eventually. But
that's why we didn't say last name.
Yeah, exactly. But the Camaro will eventually go into a garage spot next to that. We're trying to work out a weekend where we can push
Is that
it
where
in
the
there.
E24 is going to end up?
No, the E24 is coming home,
Okay.
hopefully. But my mom broke her ankle, so I'm using the extra spot to put her car there for when she has appointments. She can easily get in and out of the car. You know what I mean? So
Being a good son.
Yeah, exactly. But she also, now that I'm back at Honda, I also talked to the lot manager. I was like, yo, bringing an old BMW here. Is you going to try to tow it out or what? He's like, yeah, I'm towing it out. I'm like, shut up, it's coming here. And he said something about it. He asked me about it. He's like, when are you bringing that over here? I'm like, eventually, dude. I'll let you know,
Yeah.
But so then I have the Camaro, and then I just, like I mentioned earlier, I did buy an 84 633 CSI from our buddy Adrian.
Yes.
So he's
that's your problem now.
Yeah.
You say that, but I know lots about it, so it should.
You've been doing research. I remember like when you first started talking about buying it, and you were first getting serious about it. We hadn't agreed to meet up. Transfer money, paperwork, and all that. Be like, I bought a harness for it.
Yeah, I bought a harness. I bought lowering springs. This is all before I even signed over the title for it. I was like, but this has been a long time coming. I think even when he first bought the car, I was like, yo, if you ever decide to sell this, I got first dibs,
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly how it happened again. Yeah. Like, I jokingly just texted him out of nowhere. I was like, whenever you're ready to get rid of that E24, you let me know.
It's been broken down for a year. You can have it.
Yeah, and he's like, actually, just come give me money. You can take it. I was like, oh, shit.
Damn it.
So, and there was, like, quite a few times where I had the money, but I was trying to get other things, like projects, like the EG and the M3 squared away first, and... Yeah, very recently we finally got... I mean, we're good friends, so it's not like... There was somebody else looking at it, but luckily my man held on to it. My brother. I appreciate it, so...
You thank me now. You're probably going to be cursing me later.
Nah, man, dude, you were there for the E30 when I pulled that out. Yeah. Like, that thing was...
It's no worse than that. It can't be any worse than that.
No, it's 10 times... Yeah, that's what I mean. The E30 was 10 times worse than that, and I worked on that, so I'm literally, like... Actually, very recently...
You're signing up for it.
Yeah, I've been, like, itching, like, really getting, like, I'm like, dude, all right, I gotta get it home before I fucking like kill somebody. Like, I need to start working on it. Like,
I expect
now.
to see a video of you just sitting in it. Just
eventually I will. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure it out because since I gotta do the harness, I would rather have it like I don't want to bring it to Honda and have to go all the way to the back lot to put this harness on because I don't want to have to push it in and out of the shop, like every night or whatever have you, and have it be a burden on other people. So so I would like to get it home, do the harness, get it running, and then bring it over to
and then
work.
really start playing with it.
Yeah, play with the fluids, get it going.
Let me know if you ever figure out that
stuff.
shake. It shakes at like 50 miles an hour.
Thanks for letting me know that.
I thought I told you everything that was wrong with this car.
No, you just said that it looks like a piece of shit. So
I said it was a piece of shit. I said it was an electrical nightmare. I said it was overcomplicated. It's got issues. It's your problem now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'll figure it all out.
But no, the shake is a thing. Like I looked on forums and a lot of people seem to have it and they can't figure out what it is.
Well, hopefully lowering it will fix it.
At least gonna start there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a little cool and shake is still better than it shaking.
Exactly. Don't worry about the bushings. Don't worry about the bushings.
Don't worry about the 40-year-old bushing or anything.
Oh, and I do have a Guibo somewhere for the drive shaft.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So you built this engine, and this is your first one, your first like ever. And so what's the process of going like, okay, I'm going to tear this thing down?
So basically, it was just like I said, it came down to like, okay, I knew with like the spoon engine, I was like, okay, that's my goal.
Right.
Am I going to do that right now? Probably not. Let's just rebuild the thing, you know. So and it's not like it needed a rebuild. Actually, when we took the valve cover off, like in the Del Sol, like first off, the guy that owned it, he never. I don't think he ever hit VTEC in the thing because VTEC engaged at 5,500 stock, and when we're sitting in the title line, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I've only ever used BP gas in it. Only ever went to a BP gas station. That's it. He never went anywhere else. And he skipped shift. It's 5-speed. So he went from 1,
third,
3, 5. I don't think he ever used 2
So
and
the
4.
synchros for 2 and 4 are fucking brand new.
A lot. When I took the trans apart, everything looked mint inside. Just normal, like wear, like stuff. That's about it.
So you took the transmission apart as well.
Yeah, I took it all apart because I put in a poor man's LSD. A Phantom grip, it's called.
Yeah,
it's a little block that you just spring out and it locks both wheels.
Yeah.
And up until very recently, I realized how dangerous that actually is. Yeah. So
like how dangerous it is to take it apart, or how dangerous it is to have that thing in there. Oh, okay.
If an axle breaks, because now both wheels are locked, so it's like my buddy was like, dude, if like an axle breaks, he's like, whatever wheel is still spinning is going to send you that way. I'm like, I never really thought of that. I was like, that's kind of scary. I was like, luckily the axles are brand new and like 300 horsepower axles.
That's the thing. If it was a regular LSD, though, I mean, you're still going to send power.
It's still the same thing, but I guess if you're not on the power, it might not be.
But like Phantom grips kind of feel like block guards to me. It's like they work, but a real LSD is better. Having an actual like closed deck block.
Because when I'm coming out of a corner and like I floor it, like I actually love doing it though, because like especially the one coming around turn 1 at Lightning in Jersey, it's like kind of uphill and over a crest. So like I know exactly when to floor it and to kind of have fun. So it'll be like, over the crest. It's like
just kind of clawing at the grip.
It's just kind of like just barely holding on, and I'm like, let's go, baby. Bouncing all around and everything. But so I mean, like I said, the spoon motor. So I just wanted to build something like that. Just have a high revving Honda. That exactly what everybody had back in the day. I didn't want a turbo. I'm a big NA guy, so I just wanted to rebuild it and just have fun. Have fun with the car.
100% agree. With that, because I think that's what kind of killed the modern SI, the turbo.
Yeah, exactly.
The SI doesn't exist hardly anymore. It's there.
No, it's there. Like people like it. You know what I mean? It's cool.
But just go for the Type R.
Yeah, at that point, people just now that the Type R is out, it's like why buy the SI when I have the Type R? Even though the SI is still freaking awesome, you know what I mean?
It uses the 1.5 though now.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, you do like a full bolt on, you still have the same.
Well, it's a
horsepower,
1.5 turbo, and like, isn't that engine also available for the non-SI's 1.5 turbo?
It's basically the same thing like you would find in like a CRV and stuff. Yes, but it's slightly different. You know,
it's not
slightly different.
as special. It feels like
in a way,
because
yeah.
you go back to the the NA Civics and Civic SIs, and like they had a bespoke engine.
Yeah.
The Civic SIs had the K series, and the non-SIs had the R series. And you go back a little further, it was K and D, and you go back further, it's B and D.
Of course, correct.
And now it's the same engine, just with a different map.
More or less, but it's not, because the Type R has the 2-liter.
Well, no, not the Type R. The Civic Si versus the base.
Oh,
Civic.
yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it kind of is the same. It's kind of like that.
And that feels cheap to me. It's
but when you get down to the nitty gritty and you actually learn to it, maybe the valves and the head might be slightly different.
Are they though? Because I feel like Honda would save a lot of money if they just tweaked the map and made
no. I think
horsepower.
I think it is slightly a little bit different.
Okay,
Because
so
it's built for a little bit
better.
more performance rather than a daily driver. You know, so I think that's what they do.
I haven't like studied up on
like you can't
since the B and K series.
Yeah, like I'm almost positive you can't take the 1.5 out of a SI and like swap over parts from like a CRV 1.5 turbo. You know what I mean? Like maybe to an extent, yeah.
Well, did the 1.5 turbo come in the non-SI Civics as well?
Yeah, like a touring Civic.
Yeah,
like the higher end one. You know what I mean? Like
so what's
like
the
a
difference between
hatchback
those
and
two
stuff.
engines?
Now to see, that's where maybe are they the same with a different map? Probably. Who knows?
And I hate that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but that's how a lot of things are nowadays. You'll find the same
just,
engine in a lot
so
of
cheap.
shit, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you found the K series and the CRVs as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
but
they were all different
special.
components.
It was special.
It was, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It was all different
I feel like
components,
they don't
different
make
pistons,
them as special.
valves, everything, you know?
I want to be special boy when I buy my SI.
I understand that. I get that. And yeah, no, it's not, and you're right. It's not the same as like having like the EF with a small little 1.5, 1.6 liter that's put out to like 80 horsepower opposed to like your D series Z6 or whatever that's putting out like, yeah, you know what I mean?
And
like,
then the B series making 160. Like, that was something special. That was nice.
Exactly. So yeah, is it not the same? Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
but that's where you gotta
the whole NA. Like high-strung, little weedy little four-cylinder. That's a magical feeling compared to
going back to the Spoon videos. You see these things revving out to 12,000, and it's like
you have to stay up there if you want to go fast.
Yeah, and that's why they do. It's because like VTEC Engage is so high, and it's like that's where you want to be at, you know. So
and these engines don't make torque down low. They make all their power up top.
I make like 100 foot-pounds of torque. That's it. It's a modest 100, but you know,
it's an honest 100.
Yeah, exactly. But it's there.
Yeah, when I was talking about like my CRV, I was like, it doesn't have much to give, but it gave it willingly.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's when I got it tuned. Like the dude's like, 170 wheel horsepower, 104 foot-pounds of torque. I'm like, don't ever repeat that number again. You watch
You're not gonna tell nobody, right?
Watch your tone, buddy.
Yeah. Wow, he really shifted the balance of that, or maybe it's the components you have, because I think the stock B16 made 160 horsepower and 111 pound-feet of torque
on paper.
And to the crank.
Exactly.
I'm guessing you're talking
wheels.
Yeah, okay.
This is all wheel stuff. Yeah. To the crank, I'm probably making like 200 horsepower maybe.
And like 120 foot-pounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The crank's different. Yeah, no, to the wheel, 170, 104.
Yeah. So I wanted to like kind of go into that. So I wanted to just kind of like, because I've never built an engine. You know, I've swapped, B series, obviously. Like that's the only thing I've really like opened up. But I just put a VTEC head on. So it was a head gasket. But even that alone, and like I left the cam, everything was like the cams were already bolted in. Like everything else was good. Like the guy told me the head was good. I forget who I got it off of. Bolted it on, new manifold.
So
whatever.
that's when
and like that was scary enough for me.
Yeah, you were also 16.
So
maybe
17. I was pretty young.
I will give you that. So.
Like you open this thing
I can say,
up.
I guess you can kind of say I didn't fully build the entire motor. Now, did I put it all together? Absolutely.
But I mean, just rebuilding. I'll give you the credit though. Like rebuilding the rotating assembly, like in the block and all that stuff. Like that can also. There's like just little tiny things about like rod bearings.
Exactly.
Got to be the right way.
You can get that slightly wrong and have things go very wrong.
Well, so that's what once again Honda being Honda and the greatest. You got to remember, Honda is the largest manufacturer of motors in the world. So they do know how to build a motor, and they have a lot of people that I'm sure have to rebuild these. So they do have a very nice way of doing these things. So when I had it down to a bare block, like you mentioned, like rod bearings and stuff like that. Now, before I even really get into that, like what made me even more comfortable too, like at work working for Honda, there is a piston ring recall on the Odysseys where you're rebuilding half of the motor. Well, guess what? I did that a bunch of times, and then I even did an Insight where you had to press the pistons off the rods and press new ones back on. So like I even went as far as that, and like I never did that at school. You know what I mean? So like having that knowledge, and it's like, I think I can actually do this with and I want to do this with an old school Honda. I want to know what all the hype was back in the day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Honda had such a great reputation from the 90s. Like I want to know what it was all about. So that's why I was like, I'm going to bring this motor back to where it was when it was brand new and see what it was all about. And boy, was that great.
Seriously.
So,
like you said, like just the joy of like being able to like be driving something that you built, like that engine you built, you touched every part of it.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Like I said, all the way down. Like I had the crank literally sitting on like wrapped in a bunch of pig mats sitting on a nice cushiony spot, like, for days, you know what I mean? Like I took the block and like I taped everything off. I painted it, it was a bare piece of chunk of metal, you know, and I literally put it all back together.
Yeah. And then obviously you got like it honed from like a machine shop or anything?
No, I did that.
Decked? You did it?
No, because the motor was so clean still, even though with 120K on it. Like
what's a Honda?
Yeah, he took really good care of it. So my buddy Josh brought in his ball hone because, like I said, he rebuilt his D series for the EG when he took it out.
Unless you got gouging or anything, like a ball hone's all you need to rough up the surface so you can seat new rings.
So once again, I will admit, I guess you kind of say I didn't do the whole thing, but Josh brought in the ball hone, attached to my drill, nice, oiled it up, and just nice and easy, just nice and straight. You just did it. You just made sure the cross hatches were nice. So and like, did it really need it? No, but I was already there, so I did it. Yeah, so I did.
When it helps with new rings, I'm assuming you.
Re-ringed everything, and like I said,
so your Honda doesn't burn oil.
It does, but it does it naturally how it was designed to do that.
I mean, we always say Hondas burn oil from the factory.
Well, they do, and I've always, from Mr. Honda himself, he always told me that's how they literally are designed. I mean, that's how any motor is designed. Any motor's, it's going to burn this 1,000+ degrees inside this motor. It's going to burn something. You know what I mean? So, but how much is it burning? Is it blowing blue smoke out the tailpipe? No, absolutely not. It's not blowing any smoke besides, exhaust fumes. You know what I mean? So, no. Is it burning? Yes. But it's doing it correctly the way it was designed. So, but but once again, being at Honda, you have all that things to go off. Like I literally was pulling the old book off the shelf and opening it up, looking at how the piston rings are supposed to orient
them.
Yeah, like this, the top one's supposed to go this way, the other one's supposed to go that way, the other one's supposed to go diagonal. Like, put the gap here, the gap.
The last thing you want to do is line all the gaps up.
Yes, exactly. Like you have to make sure they're all right, and then you have to. I had to buy the piston ring sleeve.
Yeah.
So you literally put the piston in the little sleeve, and it compresses all the pistons, so you can put it right back in.
You take the handle of your hammer.
Yep. You just dice and tap, and then with the fresh bearings and everything, just zip it on up. Turn the motor over. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Come back, torque it all later. You know what I mean? So and then like I said, with the rod bearings, Honda made it so easy that they color code it. They use this special paint or whatever on each bearing. So you just look for the color, and I think like I had like a brown, orange, like red or something.
And
like
that's
that.
to take up like variants from the factory, and now you know exactly which bearings you need.
Correct. So there's different clearances of bearings that they use from the factory for whatever. Because there's different B16s and stuff like that. So you look up bearings. I'm like, hey, sell a parts guy. Like, hey, I need bearings for the car. Well, which ones?
What color?
And he's a Honda guy himself. He's real super smart. So he showed, I was told how to do it, and I looked at it and I was like, order orange, red, orange, and then you just match them up the same way, and it's all good to go. Use your assembly lube and stuff like that.
Right.
But like I said, it's something that you really have to experience to understand the feeling. Just doing something yourself like that major. It's like.
I've gotten
I
about
did that.
halfway there.
It's on my
it's
on my my bucket list of like really taking one apart.
It's really not that hard if you, like I said, if you have the know-all, like you know, like what we do, you know, stuff like that, you know, like, and then what I will, like I said, I keep saying that. Did I build the entire motor? I guess you can kind of put a technicality in there because,
look,
like,
bro, you've got your hands into like deeper into that motor than 90% of anyone who
100%
plays with cars.
100%. And so the only, like, what I'm trying to hit at is when it was time to do the head.
Right.
I put flat face valves in it and titanium dual valve springs or whatever it was, and new valve seats and all that stuff. Well, can I take the valves out of the head and compress all the springs and the seats and everything? Yeah, absolutely. Can I do the valve seals? Absolutely. But it's a certain way that everything needs to be done, and I never done it, so I wanted it to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, the head already has to be ported anyway, so it's like it's
Off
got
to
to
the
go to the
machine
machine
shop.
shop.
They can
so
do it.
it's like, and I have one hell of a machine shop guy that's been building racing motors for, God, it was like 40 plus years. You know, the dude's been doing it since he was a kid, and now he's got his kid doing it. So you know what I mean? Like, and he's done everything. I literally bought the head to him, and he didn't know what it was from. I told him it was a Honda 4-cylinder. He was like, "Huh, nice B-series head. All right."
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is a guy that's got LS's, 440s, like all the American things. He's done it all, and he's like, "Nice, all right,
all right."
And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
and so to me, like, and I understand where you're coming from, but I think that's still like you building an engine, because I think that there's a great argument for saying that like you can't rebuild a head in your garage.
You don't have a machine shop. You can't redo your valve seats.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't
like,
replace valve guides.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yes. Like, can I get a little Dremel or do whatever I had to do? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But it's like,
should I?
I just want it done perfectly and done right so I can have that reliable motor.
Because like doing your own, like you said, doing your own valve guides, you can't do them.
No,
like, I mean, it's going to get fucked up.
Yeah,
you can't resurface a head, you can't port it.
I'd rather,
so when it comes to that, like you do have to send it to a machine shop.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And now, like, if you're the person who machined the head, you're like, I machined the head.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's a different thing. But like building an engine, like that's what that is. I think like the head.
Well, I think
like,
most big engine builders aren't sitting there doing all their own machine work. They send it to a shop and then they bring it back.
And that's what I'm saying.
And then they build
an
engine.
engine.
So yeah,
exactly.
you built an engine.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes down. Yeah.
Don't be hard on yourself. You're so modest. You're like, well, I didn't do this part. Like, no, nobody does that part.
No one does that part.
Yeah, like the valves and everything were put in for me. You know, by somebody I.
Look, man, I tell people I rebuilt the Buick's engine. All I did was rip the heads off and send it to a machine shop.
Exactly.
Because I can't put hardened valve seats in there. I can't fucking do that. I could have replaced the bent intake valve myself. Sure.
Yeah.
Why would I?
Exactly.
They're gonna fucking make sure that everything's level, doesn't need to be decked, and they're gonna fucking redo the valve seats, put brand new valves in where they need to, and then they're gonna send it back to me, and I can just go.
Yeah, they have $100,000
I didn't even touch the
machines
bottom
that'll
end
fix
on
this thing. You know, So
don't you have to like put the head like in like a really really cold temperatures to get valve seats in usually?
There's
some manipulation there.
You'd have to cool the valve seats.
Maybe the seats is what I'm thinking.
You need those to shrink.
Yeah, you need the valve seats cold, and then you
put them in, and then they heat the
that's
head
what it is. Yeah.
And like, have I done that like back in school? Absolutely.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I learned how to degree cams and blueprint blocks back in school.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't done it since.
You know what I mean?
And like I said, I didn't even touch the bottom end of my car.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like, it's misfiring, and the problem's in the head.
Yeah.
I got new heads, and now hits on all eight.
Yeah, exactly.
Good enough, and I'm still telling people I rebuilt the engine.
You know? Yeah, so I did that with the motor, and then after I put that all back together, I was like, time for the trans.
Fuck yeah.
So and the trans wasn't like, it wasn't like a rebuild, but did I pull
a refresh?
I took the casing apart, all new bearings and everything, all new seals and everything, cleaned up the actual like gear sets and everything, like made it all nice and fresh, took all the like, little clutch materials and synchro material, like all that stuff. Really
clean it out, fresh fluid.
Yeah, fresh fluid, the whole nine, and then
I forgot phantom grips existed until you brought them up.
I know. Well, I didn't even know about them. That was a Josh thing. He's like, I always wanted a phantom grip. He's like, you gonna get one? I'm like, yeah, it's only $300.
It's way cheaper than an LSD.
Yeah, that was like the only part that I think I cheaped out on in that build was that little.
And they've been around
block.
forever. Like I remember Furman talking about them when we were 16.
Yeah, even before that, they've had them them forever for solid rear ends.
Oh yeah, they got them for everything.
I forget they have a different name. But yeah,
they got them for everything.
Yeah.
And like you see people with like 800 horsepower running these things. And it's like,
Yowza.
dude, I'm all for it, bro. If I can handle that, should be able to handle my little 150
Yeah,
horsepower
dude.
car.
Right.
So yeah, so that's pretty much as far as I did with the trans. But everything.
That's still cool, man. I've never opened one up.
Yeah,
That's nuts, bro.
it was cool. Taking it all back out, taking all the guts and everything, just laying them all down nice, and just rebuilding, all the bearings, all the separate casings.
And I mean, we did that we did that in school.
Yeah. But we didn't tape everything off. We didn't paint shit.
No.
I did all.
But
that,
I do remember we took apart. I think it was a Honda Accord transmission.
Probably.
I forget if you were in my group specifically or not, because that was the first class.
Yeah.
But I remember it didn't want to go into gear, even like without being in the car.
Yeah.
And it didn't want to come out of gear. And we took it apart and we filed the synchro teeth.
Yeah. There you go. I like that.
And then
really
at the end of it still didn't want to go into gear.
Yeah,
but it did.
It did. Yeah, I think I do remember that. That was
and
funny.
like that was a school donor transmission.
Yeah.
That was never going in a car, but it was fun to like see if we could make that difference. And we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
I wouldn't do that on like my car now.
No.
You're getting new fucking synchros.
And that's why I say it's so cool, to have that feeling of now I'm, and then did I do that? And then on top of that, I actually put it on a racetrack.
And it worked.
And it worked.
And it worked good.
And it worked good. It kept up.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
crazy, dude.
I had people saying
sweet.
I'm going fast.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I'm going fast, but
yeah,
they tell me I am.
I know. People, exactly. I don't feel like I am, but people say I do.
And so you had already mentioned that the suspension is all stock.
So previous owner, it's mostly all bone stock except for the crappy like
K-Sport coils.
K-Sport
I had those on
yeah.
my CRV. They were good.
Yeah. I'm not knocking them. Don't trust me. They've been put through the ringer, so they're holding on. You know. But this was probably put on.
Coilers have a shelf
2005 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like something like that. So they're like 20 plus years old. As you saw, you can't adjust them. The knobbies are there.
They
just
look
for
exactly
show.
like the ones that are on my CRV, and those were 32-way adjustable, and I can guarantee you don't have those
Exactly.
anymore.
No. So it's on that, and like I mentioned, like the trailing arm bushings are torn, stuff like that. But all of the rest of the bushings were redone, X amount of years ago from the previous owner, Josh. He put all urethane bushings throughout the whole car. So, like a lot of that was done, but mostly all stock.
No braces.
So better.
No brace. No strut braces whatsoever either. I haven't even added those onto the car.
They got strut braces. They got subframe braces.
I
got
nothing.
options.
Yeah, like I got plenty of options. No, it's full interior, full bone stock. Just
keep that interior
with a refresh B series.
Keep that interior.
Oh yeah, because it's full like SI interior and stuff like that. So.
I mean, if you want to take it out for racing, fine, but don't throw it away.
Oh yeah, once I get a place to store it, it'll all be taken out, and the car will be caged and stuff like that. But until then,
it's a beautiful daily now.
Yeah, exactly. It works out. It's nice and comfy, stuff like that. Still got my little folding little hatch thing for the trunk and stuff. It's pretty sweet. Yeah.
So then alignment wise, you don't have a whole lot of adjustment outside of factory.
No, but with it being slammed on its nuts, the front camber's sitting at like 3.5 or something like that, which is like
modest,
perfect for that little thing. There's no camber in the rear, which kind of sucks for it. Yeah. It's probably
every
like
Honda I've fucked with. When you drop them, they go hard in.
There's probably like maybe 1.2.
Dude, my CRV
1.5.
had like
Negative
like 4.5 degrees in the back just from lowering it like 3 inches.
I wish I had it because it could really benefit for some rear camber.
Well, they make camber up.
I think with more rear camber, I might not slide out, as much. So
even with the cold tires.
So that's what I was very interested in, and we are alluding to it, and that's what I've been trying to claw our way to, is because I think that suspension stuff it's very, very complicated. Everybody has different setups. There's so many variables to it, so like no one's really technically got like that perfect recipe, and a lot of it's driver oriented. So with you not having nearly as much adjustment, I was wondering what your opinion was, or I guess from what you've already said, like what more goals you would have with like the suspension set. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm working on. I have some new great parts for it, so it's all going to be redone with PCI spherical bushings and stuff like that. I have new trailing arm bushings for it, new rear camber
you're going
arms.
Beyond even urethane.
Like I said, I'm not stopping it just because I spared no expense on the motor and transit.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there. So the rest of the
Yeah.
car is getting the same treatment. You know,
Cool.
I'm working out the bugs and making sure it actually works
Sure.
before I have to like, oh, the chassis just cracked. Now I got to get rid of it before I spend all this money on it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to make sure it's going to hold together before I went really crazy.
Dump in
you know?
more money because you could always pull that engine out, put it in another car.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But maybe not, those suspension parts may not transfer over
Exactly.
eventually if I have to change a chassis or something like that,
Right.
depending on the situation in
Right.
the car that I go with. You know what I mean? So, but with that being said, like, yeah, I'm not the biggest, like, know on how suspension works with racing and stuff like that. Though I know, like, the basics like everybody else.
You should reach out to Neil.
But I think that, you know, with that being said though, and I wanted to bring this part up to Julian. We kind of talked about it. I just didn't say that part out loud. Is that like it's really driver oriented. So as long as you have the adjustment, you get out there, you start sliding around, maybe you spin out, and then you go, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and let's adjust some
that's
stuff.
kind of how I do it. Like with the M3, like I've already done that. Like the M3 has adjustments. So
Yeah.
like, you know, I've been playing with that for the past few years because I've been, you know, tracking that since 2019.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I've added and removed camber to it. You know, I'm actually getting ready to do the same thing again because I just played around with the suspension in the rear. So like I'm still working on that, still playing around, still dialing things in, just trying to figure out what I like, you know? And like that, like the M3's like, this is like, it was kind of stanced out a little bit. Like it's got massive rear camber, massive front camber, like slammed on its nuts, you know, like the tires are stuffed in the rear. Like it's crazy, you know what I mean? So like, but now I'm starting to kind of undo I haven't touched it since I bought it. So, but now I'm starting to undo certain things and kind of learn more about it. And I'm just kind of transferring the same thing over to the EG.
Yeah.
There is a person I do plan on hoping to contact. She is probably one of the greatest like EG racers I can possibly know of. Like in the club that I race with, NASA. It's Low Buck Motorsports, or her name's Jackie or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, she kind of knows how to. Yeah, she kind of knows how to dial in an EG because she races a K Series EG. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty like, I think she knows what she's doing. So hopefully, like we kind of like, you know, like she knows that the car's there and stuff like that, and like
So maybe we cross paths.
one day, you know, if I get the courage, I'll be like, hey, can you help me out? What? I just got to get the suspension like adjustable and things like that.
What specs you running?
Yeah, you know, like but she coaches people on how to dial in suspension for Hondas and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So and plus, there's no arrow on the car. It's just it's just full factory stuff.
A lot of times, you know, like it's easy to just, you know, obviously it's a great place to start with just like put it to factory spec and then go from there. But a lot of those people like you're talking about would already know. They're like, hey, I'm gonna help you skip like 3 events. If you start right
We're
here,
gonna skip a couple steps here.
Yeah.
Here's a good baseline.
Exactly.
Figure out what works for you. If you want it more sensitive in the front end, or if it's a little twitchy, we can numb it out a little bit.
Yeah, that's
they
what
can
I mean.
kind of point you like, well, if I saw you drive like this, like. It's a little bit more tail happy. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want that.
Exactly, like soften this
still
up,
need
like
more.
stiffen this up,
Soften
like,
the front, toe in the rear.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, do I know my basics? Absolutely, you know. But
I've played Forza.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
I've tuned suspension.
My
on
man gets
Forza.
it. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. No. No. And have I done my own research? Absolutely. But there's a lot
So
that
much.
like it's like it almost gets down to like a science.
Dude, I wasn't
Yeah.
kidding when I said reach out to Neil. I saw something. He actually like published an article about like roll
you
center
serious?
and shit for
Tiny
his
Dancer.
for his CRV.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way. Wouldn't have ever guessed that. He was kind of smart, dude. Though.
No, he had his hyper focus.
Yeah, he's just ADHD to a max. You know what I mean?
Maybe a little something else, but
yeah, exactly.
no, I actually read it. And like he's going into some deep concepts that I haven't even had time to like look into. So I'm like,
Interesting.
okay, he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I haven't even. Fluffy was telling me he like saw him on Snapchat or something like that every once in a while.
I don't know, it was Instagram, I think.
Oh, okay.
I caught up back up to
Interesting.
like what he was doing. Didn't reach out because I wasn't doing anything
yeah.
that required that level of.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But I was like, damn, he actually published an article in like a magazine or something.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's pretty wild. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, so yeah, I'm learning it. Like I said, I just wanted to get the car out,
Yeah.
So yeah, it could have, as we already said, I spun out at least like 2 times, which I keep all the helpers on the M3, like the traction control, and it's got ABS. Like I keep all that on, so that was the first time I was ever in a car that didn't have any of that.
Just raw.
Exactly.
And the car, technically, you said this year was your first event, or like your first time putting it on the track.
This
so it's
past
kind of
year.
cool
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was
no assist.
It was back to front wheel drive. I haven't been in a track to front wheel drive car since I had my 2014 Accord. So that was my first car that I ever put on a track. Yeah, and that still had ABS traction. I still remember the guy when he was teaching me how to do threshold braking. He was like really like stand on that brake, and he's like, I want you to engage the ABS. I'm like, all right, cool. And for the life of us, the ABS was so good in the car that it wouldn't give that feedback that he was looking for. He was like, he wanted it to kind of lock up. Yeah, he wanted it to lock up and kind of show me how far you could push the brake on the car.
He's showing you the limits.
And it's like the car was just eating it up. It's like, nah, give me more.
You're like, shit.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember reading about some guy was talking about coaching drivers. He's like, the first exercise I do is I have them drive up to a turn, and when they want to start braking, tell them to full brake, slam on.
That's how you do it.
And then see how early you stop before the actual turn. It's like you could have hit the brakes 100 feet.
Yeah.
Later.
Oh, yeah, because you're not used to going 100 miles an hour into
a 90-degree turn.
Yeah, because that's a 45 mile an hour turn.
Exactly.
Going from
and
100
and that was me, because on the Pocono race tray that I did it on, it's NASCAR turn 1, and then it's literally a 90-degree turn. Whoa. As soon as that NASCAR 1 turn ends and starts turning straight again, it's like, slam on the brakes, turn left. And it's like in your mind as a normal person, you're like, gradually slow down, but it's like
racing. It's like no, you minimize your time braking.
It's like you have to get all the way up to the last second and then slam on those brakes, let go, and then turn.
Yeah, and you can tell yourself that in your head all you want, but until you actually slam on the brakes and see how long it takes your car to slow down, you don't know.
It took me all day. I constantly kept hitting it before the point you're supposed to turn in at and stuff like that. So
and you're flooring it, and all you're thinking about is stopping.
Yeah, exactly. So and so not having those things, I was kind of a little worried. Is the wheels gonna lock up? Stuff like exactly. And surprisingly enough, that's not really how that works. You know what I mean? So
in the dry, especially, you can hit the brakes pretty hard.
Yeah, I pretty much I do the same thing I would do in the M3 that I'm doing in the EG. Then it just has.
I do know that in panic mode, it's easy to lock brakes up in the dry.
Oh yeah, has it done it? Yeah, it's done it once or twice. And I think it wasn't a panic situation, going around consecutive turns, and it's like, oh shit, somebody spun out in front of me. It's slam on the brakes, and it's like, it's like, okay.
I know I've had deer jump out in front of me in the Buick, which has no assist.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I've locked up all 4.
I'm sure. Yeah, especially that heavy boat trying to set that thing.
4,000 pounds of American steel does not stop quick from 80.
Brother.
I did hit that deer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Smoky.
So, it's pretty funny. So it's definitely a learning curve. You know what I mean? So I think
I can nail it in Forza.
Exactly.
In video games, that's completely different.
100%. But it's funny because the very first time I took the car out on track, the very first session, we were the first ones out, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's March, everything's cold. The tires don't work unless they're heated up, So it's I have it on my Instagram video. It's funny. It's the guy comes up. He's like, cold track, be careful. And what was it? Turn 7 is where I finally. I was like, all right, be careful.
Yeah,
and
she's
I
gripping.
turned in nice and gentle at 60 miles an hour because it's caution. The first 2 laps, you're just trying to warm everything up. And I turned in, which I thought was nice and gentle. And next thing you know, I'm like,
oh shit!
That was pretty. funny.
60 is fine under caution, but you're still sliding at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, cold tires are pretty much you're driving on ice. You know?
Right.
So it's pretty wild. You know,
there's kind of no coming back.
It's just there is no saving it in a front wheel drive car. Yeah, you can floor it as much as you want, but once that rear end kicks out too far, it's game over. You know?
What do they tell you to do in that kind of scenario?
Clutch in, neutral, and just let it go.
Really? No
hands
brakes?
off the wheel. Yeah, I mean, try bring the car to a stop,
Yeah.
but like
Let the car
don't
figure
stop
out where it
into
wants to go.
Yeah, don't stop
Like-
in the middle of the track or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
don't
try
fight
not to
the
do
wheel,
that. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. Like just
Right.
get out of the way as best as you can. Stay out of the
Yeah.
way. Don't go flying back into traffic. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right,
Like stuff
right.
like that. And most
Yeah.
people
It should be common sense.
Definitely get the
Yeah,
fuck out of
yeah,
the way, but there's
exactly.
not like, yeah, okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
and it's not like it's open wheel racing, you know what I mean? So it's like we're not like, side to side, we're usually in a line, so it's, there's usually
Yeah.
people are pretty good though, they could see ahead
Yeah.
before anything like
Yeah, they see that bag and
crazy
start stepping
happen.
out. They're like, I better slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what happened my second spin out, which was the most recent one. So I open up the hood, you see all the dirt and everything. The whole car got encapsulated in a cloud of dust and dirt. It was absolutely insane, you know.
Yeah.
But it was, pushing the car so hard and making one little mistake. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I did it. As soon as I turned left, or went to go turn left,
Too
I was
fast.
like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
There was another EG behind me with a B18 in it that was fully stripped, and he was a little faster than me, a lot faster than me. I should say.
You're trying to kind of keep that pace.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not letting them pass me. I was like, I'm trying to keep up with them as best as I can, and I was like, oh no. Car did like a full 360, the wheels like dug into the dirt and everything.
Probably doesn't have
And so
torn
nothing-
trailing arm bushings.
Yeah, no, it probably didn't at all. No, it was fully caged and everything. It was a serious car, so.
And so nothing broke on that?
I have no idea.
Well,
I mean, I drove it
here.
home, yes.
You drove here.
There is like a slight vibration at a higher speed.
That's just a clump of dirt stuck in a wheel.
Yeah, I haven't, it really, like the wheels really dug in, so I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe like the hub got a little bit bent out of shape or something like
Yeah.
that, or.
You're not
You
racing
know.
on the wheels that you drove here on, right?
No. I got a set of Rotas with 200 tread wears.
Rota slips.
Yeah, come on, man. Fake spoons, dude, all day. Yeah, I got them for like $200.
Proudly made in the Philippines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those.
yeah.
It's funny because those wheels, like they've been through Josh's friends. Like I think his one
always.
friend bought them like brand new, and then like one wheel got bent, so there's like a new wheel, and then like his friend bought them off of him, and then like they went on this car, and then like his other friend bought them.
Rota slips have been around for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
even if they're knockoffs,
Yeah,
they know how to make them.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So even
They're
when I
not
got
all shitty.
yeah, and I got them repowder coated and everything, so they're like, they're nice and legit now.
Yeah.
It was funny when they got powder coated. My buddy, he took off all the old paint. He's like, dude, how many like times have these been painted? I'm like, why? He's like, there was like 9 layers of paint.
How much of that was rattle can?
Yeah, exactly. It was all
Right.
rattle can. That's why,
I'm gonna pee real quick.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
come
yeah.
back. So back to the pee break. A good transition to all this suspension and racing talk was tires.
Oh yeah.
So
Actually,
and
yeah.
I thought you had a couple bubbles happen on some tires.
yeah. I was being an idiot.
Oh no.
I was playing with tire pressures, and I don't know why I went down so low, but I did.
You wanted more grip, is what you told me.
Yeah, but then I forgot about one crucial thing too, and it's like I was trying to get more grip by lessening PSI, but like
Yeah,
there
bigger
was
contact patch.
yeah, but it was already the more grip was already there, and so like there's a point in time where like the tire gets too low in pressure and it kind of like rolls over on itself. It kind of feels like it's slipping or bumping out
Oh,
a little
trust
bit.
me, I have felt that firsthand.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I completely like forgot about that, and I kept going lower and lower. And one track's mostly all right turns, and the left tire, sitting at like 3.5 degrees of camber, it's sitting on that edge like pretty hard. So I get out on the racetrack, and
What
I'm
pressure
doing
were you running?
like 20. And so the car had a wicked vibration. Not just like it usually had a bad vibration under braking, but I just put on brand new brakes, so I'm trying to like bed everything in still. Excuse me. But it had a wicked vibration just going. Like the steering, and I mean like the steering wheel was like this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I really cannot be out here like this. Like I
Yeah.
really gotta pull back in.
We've
like,
gone from the point of inconvenience, like this is dangerous. Something's wrong.
pretty much, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, maybe it'll work itself out because that wasn't there before, so I don't understand
you
what's
sweet
going
summer
on
child.
now. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm like, is something like the brakes get hung up? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like just going around like fast as I can, and I'm like, something's not right. And like 20 minutes in, like the sessions are usually 20, 25 minutes. So like maybe 15, 20 minutes in, I'm like, all right, I'm going back in. Like something's not right. It's not working itself out. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Something's not right, and the wheel's gonna fall off. I don't know, something. So I pull back in, and I'm like, all right, let me do a rotate, because I've been beating this left front tire up all weekend. I'm like, let me do a rotate and just maybe that'll work itself out. Check everything out while I got the wheels and tires off. Make sure everything's copacetic. Get it up on jack stands. Start ripping off the lugs and everything. My buddy Josh starts helping me take off the wheels. The left front wheels, since that's the problem, it's the first one we took off. So I loosen those up, go to the rear, and he takes it off. He's like, I think I found your problem, bud. I'm like, oh, fuck, what? And I turn around, and I'm like, oh. So there was like 3 massive bubbles, this big on the sidewall, inside sidewall of the tire. Like one right here, and then
a little bit of delamination in the sidewall.
And I'm like, I'm like, dude, that tire could have exploded at 100 plus miles an hour.
You've upgraded from May Pops to Will Pops.
Yeah, and I'm like, how did that not happen? I'm like, dude, somebody upstairs was watching over me or something. Dude. Like, that's insane. Like, I could have spun out and died or something. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a front wheel. That's a steering wheel.
Like, dude, that could have been bad if that thing exploded. You know, like. So, I learned my lesson from that.
You know the limits of tire pressure now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly like, my buddy, he drives a C5 Vet, Joe. He comes over and he's like, dude, what happened? Like, I was like, I was messing with tire pressures. He's like, how low did you go? I was like, 20? He's like, what are you, drag racing?
Yeah, right?
I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. All right, man, I'm just trying to find some more grip.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What tire do you go with?
On the EG, it's just some R888s. Toyota's R888s. Yeah, R's or whatever. It's nothing crazy. Just it has to be 200 tread wear.
Okay.
And then on the M3, I ran a Hankook Ventus RS4. And now I got a Falcon, what is it? The RT 615 or 660, whatever. I forget whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that on the M3 now. So. Yeah. And then I think my buddy tried out like Kumos or something like that,
Okay.
Yeah, so,
how'd that work out?
I mean, I guess like the better question is are they like more track oriented? Like obviously with like a 200 tread wear, that's a pretty soft tire.
Yeah, any 200 tread wear is what you need. It's either 200 tread wear or you're running a slick, one or the other.
It kind of puts you in that ballpark.
Yeah. I mean, you don't. Yeah, exactly. Like
I ran 200 tread wears on my first CRV.
Yeah.
On accident.
Yeah, that's a little wild on the street. Yeah. I mean, I'll do it. Like the M3 is always sitting on 200 tread wears, but like it don't go anywhere in the winter time.
Well, no, I bought a set of Momo wheels that had tires on them. They were the tire size was way too small. They were like a 35 profile. I don't even remember what kind of tires they were, but they were definitely like 200 tread wear.
Yeah. That's like,
I felt unstoppable.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, no, and that's
I forget what mine are. I don't know what those.
I thought they were pretty aggressive. You know what? Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go check.
You gonna do some research for us?
Thanks, buddy. But yeah, that's the type of tire you're gonna have to run on the track in order to get. I mean, do you have to? No, I ran an all-season tire on the Accord when I first went. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've seen one guy before driving a Coupe Civic, 05 Coupe Civic automatic. Mm-hmm. He was on Starfire tires. On Steelies. Yeah, on Steelies. You know what I mean? Like, he was having a time of his life, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, pick and choose your battle. I just want to go fast, so I got the full race brakes and race tires for the most part.
Yeah.
You know?
So that was another question I had was, like, what are the, like, I guess the minimum requirements to get on track, safety equipment down to like what the car
there really needs. Is no minimum requirement. It's a car just got to be safe, and you just got to have a seatbelt. You know what I mean?
So like
you are rocking 200 tread wear.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I was pretty sure they're 200 tread wear. I was almost positive. I didn't want to say it, but I was like, I'm pretty sure. And with their Atinas,
it's some fancy made up word by Falcon. They're Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcon. Yeah, the Azans.
Yeah,
that's what I got. It's that, but like RT 660 or RT 615. I forget what it is. It's something like that.
Yeah, I know a ton of the homies that I know that are drifting. They were using those for front tires. So I was like, fuck it, do all 4. I'm not drifting it yet.
Yeah,
I just wanted a nice, good tire.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they're kind of like the bee's knees right
and
now.
for anyone who doesn't know what like the tread wear rating is, there's a government standard, and like 200 would be 200% tread wear. So 200 is aggressive.
yeah, I
but
think
it's
like
twice as good as
20,000
the
miles.
government standard tire.
Yeah.
I remember when we were learning about that, we were like making fun of the government standard tire. Like, this has to be the shittiest tire
Oh
ever
yeah,
made.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's
A 100 tread wear would be like the government standard. So
yeah.
I don't know. They had to have come up with that tread wear rating like way back in the day. Because
I thought that it was like a 200 was like 20,000, the 300 was 30,000, 400 was
No, not necessarily.
Oh,
no.
okay.
No, I mean, yeah, it kind of in a way. I guess you can kind of say, it
Yeah.
does it. Do they
well,
last
no,
like
here's
that?
the thing:
No.
like an 800 tread wear tire is good for 40,000 miles or so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'll probably get like 10,000 on a daily driving 200 tread wear tire.
Yeah.
300 tread
Yeah,
wear
no,
tire.
200 tread
you
wear
know?
just means it'll last 200, like twice as long as the government standard tire.
Yeah, which
I don't
is-
know what
Government
a
standards just
tire
black
is.
and round.
Yeah, and somehow like grip doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
100 tread wear is like the government standard.
Yeah, like the R888Rs, the Toyotas that I have on the EG, they're 180. They're 180 tread wear.
so they're super sticky.
But everybody has like their own quote unquote like 200, like each company, you know,
Has a
what I
200
mean?
tread
Like,
wear
yeah,
tire.
they're all like technically 200 tread wear, but it's like
Okay.
it's a little bit softer. So
Yeah.
yeah, so do I have like somebody asked me that the other day? They're like, do you have a favorite tire? I'm like, I just use whatever works, whatever I can afford,
Yeah.
and whenever I
Black
can
rubber
afford.
round meets the requirements.
Yeah, like I've seen people use like eBay tires for the track and it
shit.
works. You know what I
Hercules.
mean? Yeah, you know what I'm
No.
saying? Like, it's funny. It's just
No,
pick and choose your battle.
And I will say though, the Nexons I have in my Buick have way more grip than the Hancooks that I had. Oh no, I didn't have Hancooks. I had Yokos.
Okay.
I had Hancooks on my CRV, and they were also kind of garbage in the wet.
Yeah, it all depends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tire, tread wear,
tires-
stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, tires get nuts.
There's
But
a
so-
science behind tires.
Oh yeah.
So you
for
don't
sure.
have to have a fire extinguisher or like anything specific.
No,
Nothing?
nah, dude. You can. I mean, it depends on how clapped out the car is. You know?
Oh shit, that's
this is
so
a
nuts.
Honda, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I took a 2014 Honda Accord that was supposedly it was on coilovers. That was
Yeah.
it. And
No, you had a factory header tube because it has the integrated.
eventually I put that on, but it was before my first track day. Or no, actually, I think I had to. Yeah, no, I did have that on when I did
Yeah,
that
you,
track.
you got that pretty
I did
early
that.
because I
Yeah.
remember we were making. I don't know if you were part of that conversation because I don't know if you liked Hondas yet, but me and Fluff definitely were talking about how Honda integrated the exhaust manifold into the head, so it was just
Yeah.
one port.
Yeah,
We're like,
it's
what
just
would a
one little
header
thing.
even look like? That just like
Yeah.
one pipe, and
Yeah.
then you showed up and you had that.
Yeah,
and we're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh fuck, they actually did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just get rid of the giant cat and instead, just put one little pipe. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't
so-
get a cool looking header. You just have one
Yeah.
pipe sticking out of the side of the head.
I had that and coilovers and a little AEM intake,
But
cold,
dude,
a
yeah,
true cold
you
air
had an
intake.
Accord Sport,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, it was an Accord
That's
Sport.
a
It
sport
made it
little
like
thing.
180 or no, I think it made like 200.
and that was the last like
horsepower.
manual Accord you could get.
Yeah,
One of 'em.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, the 10th gen would have been the last one. So I think no,
You
I
were
think-
close. You were pushing the
yeah, I
limit.
was pushing it. Yeah, no, that thing was sweet. Yeah, but it was bone stock coilovers.
Perfect daily driver.
Yeah, we joked around all day. It was the dad car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go pick up your kids in it, and you can zoom on home with it. That's it. Yeah, coilovers. I had at the time the 2018 SI just came out, so I put on the same size tires that the SI had. I figured, it's SI tires.
That's the
I'll
equivalent.
have options. For
Yeah, it
good
was
tires.
a slightly performance tire. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
So I used that, and that was pretty much it, though. Yeah, we signed up, and they put an instructor in your car. You got to have a helmet. Safety. There
So
goes
that's
your
the,
safety.
like that's the
Actually,
only
yeah,
like
you gotta
I do
have a
have,
helmet.
I do have
you
a
know.
question.
What's up?
Would my
Hit me
Buick
with it.
pass tech?
Well, your what?
My Buick pass tech? What would I need?
Does it have seatbelts?
Yes. Lap
Is
belts.
the brake fluid fresh?
Yes, because it leaks so much that I changed it regularly.
Okay.
It stopped leaking though.
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So that's
and I run .4.
okay. So yeah, what is the tech process? They want to make sure you're
So we pull up into the one section of the parking lot. They open up the hood. They open up the trunk to make sure any
gotta empty
loose
the trunk.
any loose objects in the car are out, like floor mats, anything in the trunk, like trunk mat, anything like
The
that.
trunk has to be empty?
Yeah, everything has to be empty.
Yeah, you can't have anything in the car.
Can't have anything bebopping around, like, because you never know what's gonna go flying.
Well, if my
throughout
trunk
the car.
pops open, then that could be a
or
problem.
something like
Okay,
that.
that
You
makes
know what I
sense.
mean? You
Yeah,
get,
dog.
you get like
Okay,
you get
I've got a
rear-ended.
lot of things I have to empty.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And
things.
also,
you
if
know?
you're on the track, would you want to have all the spare parts you've ever needed?
Look,
in your
my
entire
tools
life?
are back there. All right.
Yeah, like we load up the cars and then we empty them all out when we get to the track.
Okay.
You know
So
what
if I
mean?
emptied
So,
the Buick and I had the lap belts, is that enough?
probably
And a helmet.
I
and a helmet.
seen there was some guy that took like a 70 like Lincoln something like that
Oh
onto
my
the track,
God.
dude. Yeah.
Okay,
It was
so
like
now
all restored.
I'll never
and
get Adrian to
everything.
drift ever again. This
No.
is all he's going to think about for the
That's-
next 48 hours.
Honestly, if you probably showed up for the hyperdrive, which is like at lunchtime, you pay him $50 and you put on a helmet and you're good to go.
And like, you don't need like a Hans device. You don't need a neck
No,
brace.
no. You
I
just
would
need a-
definitely
you
need
just-
the seatbelt though, because I have bench seats. I'm going flying
Yeah,
across
you're
that
gonna need
coast.
a
So-
seatbelt to keep you in. Yeah, because you're gonna be going around a turn pretty
And so that's
hard.
another thing I was surprised to see, especially in the EG or even the M3. You don't, but especially the EG because
No
it's a stock
harness,
seat.
no
But you don't have a
cage,
seat.
no
A seat.
seat.
M3 has a seat. Yeah.
You have a seat in the M3.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that was leather, and I was like
Nah.
around a right hand turn. Like I remember my buddy Josh was behind me. He was like, "Dude, you're hanging out the window." Yeah, I know. It's hard to stay
Yeah,
in there.
trust me, brother.
Yeah, I was like,
No,
I'm working it.
I've done that in the Buick. Like I'll have the window
Yeah.
down and my arm will hook the door because if
Yeah.
I go around like
Yeah,
a left turn,
yeah.
I'm going
Yeah, you're
over.
going
it.
in the passenger seat. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Trust me. In the EG, no, it doesn't have a seat. My fat ass broke the seat, so it kind of wobbles a little bit now. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, I'm still racing the damn car. But anyway, but yeah, and
Allegedly.
allegedly, and
Facebook Marketplace, I picked up that Prisma
yeah.
NRG seat for $200.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
know
can
what
get.
I'm saying? Like, you
I
gotta
put
get
a
something, dude.
OMP because that's the only. Well, it's one of the
OMP 's
companies that make seats for my big stature.
Oh,
American
I can't.
size seats.
Yeah, I can't fit in all racing seats. You know,
so
what
you
I
need the
mean?
American standard.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got a big boy seat in the M, and it barely fits in there. I had to do a lot of like work to put that in the car. So it works. It's safe,
Yeah.
and everything's bolted down correctly.
The EG, I bet, will actually be easier. It's
Honda's
because
really good about having
It's got
space
yeah,
inside.
it's got a
minimalist
little room.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do need to put a seat in it because I don't really fit into it very well with the helmet and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I gotta squat down.
Oh,
a
you
little bit.
hitting the ceiling?
So the
Get an EF hatch. They have a surprising amount of space inside.
yeah, I know. Well, that's on the list. But anyway,
Of course it is.
We won't talk about that. But yeah, so I'll eventually get the seat because obviously
Okay.
the seat's a little messed
Yeah.
up and stuff like that. So yeah, eventually I'll get there. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, going around, what is it? Left-hand turns, I'm usually foot is underneath the dash and it's holding me down.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the seatbelt's working its magic, you know, stuff like that.
100%. Because I remember I was following you back when you had the S13.
Yeah.
And I was in my CRV.
Yeah.
We're going around back roads just for
Yeah.
shits and giggles. You were, drifting at like stop signs and shit, allegedly.
Allegedly,
And I was just
dude.
trying to keep up because I'm in the CRV. I can't fucking slide the thing.
Yeah.
But there were a couple turns where like I needed third gear and I couldn't reach the shifter because I was pinned against the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, I've been there.
And I had the beer tap. Like that's
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
here. Like
Yeah.
where I needed to be. I'm like,
Yeah. I've messed
Yeah.
up shifts from being so far over one way and reaching for the shifter, and once it hits neutral, since I'm already leaning that
Yeah,
way,
you can't get that
it
last
kinda,
gate.
Yeah, it kind of
Dude.
goes with me.
Well,
Yeah,
just
I
doing
almost-
donuts, like you were saying, like I've done them a couple times where like you just didn't get your like butt right
Yeah,
when
oh,
you did
yeah.
it, and
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
like you were focused on like,
Yeah.
oh, calm down, and then just do it, and then like you're in it, and then you're like, I can't really, I can't make another move now.
Oh, yeah,
now I'm
dude.
stuck.
I'm locked in.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I've been there. It's
Yeah.
fun.
yeah, when you were going around the turns, like I'm in second gear, I'm at like 7,000 RPM. The car's only got like 7,400. I'm like third gear, please.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been there. Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully, the seat's next.
Yeah,
Seat's
yeah,
next.
so yeah,
Cool.
the whole everything else will be put in there. But
Yeah.
I'm daily driving the car, so I don't feel like having to
Right.
get in and out of
Yeah.
the seat right now.
Oh,
daily,
yeah.
you
You would
know,
have to.
so-
Yeah, I would agree too because I'm in the middle, so I don't have a truck, and like eventually I'd like to make that a track car. We
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
don't know if we're gonna do the first event, without a truck and trailer.
Yeah.
And the seat's gonna be in, and I'm like
Yeah.
a 2-hour drive. I mean, I can cry about it. You know what I mean? I'll be fine, dude. And actually, I think on the last podcast, you drove all the way down to VRI.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Drove around to Georgia in the M3 for a car show. Yeah. Alpine Volks Fair.
Dude,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was 12 plus hours down and like 14 hours straight back.
That's nuts. So I'm going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not daily.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's uncomfortable, but like, I'm a big guy. I got to squeeze into this thing. You know
and you're going to work, and everybody's got bad days, and everybody wants to just fucking cram into
you got
this
a far
stupid
drive.
seat.
I'll drive the race car. You can drive my Buick.
Sounds good.
I just want to be there.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, so needless to say, OMP, they make some comfortable seats, and they got like your little lumbar pads and stuff like that I brought with me. I brought a pillow and stuff like that just to be on the safe side, you know.
Right. Yeah,
it was good. I think
rather
I
even
just
not,
a switch
or
it
have
up.
it not need it than need it. Not
that's what I'm saying. Like I think I maybe used it for a couple hours and
just
that was about
switch it.
it. Just have a little bit of cushion rather than just being against like the whatever the hell it's made out of.
Metal
the
bracket,
steel,
the metal
the
frame.
steel and coat foam,
So
the half-inch of generous foam.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm still just like so shocked that there's not near as much safety requirements that are needed. And I'm sure they're also checking to make sure you're not leaking anything.
Beginner friendly. So like if you put too many restrictions in place.
Okay, but a fire extinguisher seems like.
Yeah, well, I mean,
are you driving a Honda or are you driving a Fiera? Because his built Honda's probably got a lesser chance of catching on fire than my stock Fiera.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're not drifting and like where you're constantly you're meant to lose control.
Bro, you're doing 100 miles an hour and then losing control.
Facts, but there's usually runoff. It's not like there's not like a wall right next to the track. There's usually a good amount of space of grass before you hit a wall.
Without a cage, it's a lot easier to get out of the car.
Yeah,
I guess.
There was, let me put it to you like this. What was it, a couple years ago? There was a vet that caught on fire. God forbid the dude was all right, for the most part. But that was, I think they said that was the first fire they had at a racetrack in like 30 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean that just goes to show you like how they weren't even prepared for it. They didn't have enough fire extinguishers to put it out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, they had they reassessed their situation the following year just because that happened.
To have 7 fire extinguishers on deck.
Yeah.
And 14 more in reserve.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, the dude got burned up pretty good, but he's all right for the most part. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Like the first fire in 30 years. Like, it's not something that happens that often as opposed to
it's not, but it's just one of those things where I feel like it's always just been like that standard.
I mean, hey, if you want to put one in,
right?
They're not going to
fail
stop
you for it.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure it's secure and et cetera, et cetera.
Like I put one in my car, almost because I was like, it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Because I've never had a 240 that didn't. Because as soon as I got my car,
dude, both of the Fieras I bought came with fire extinguishers.
I had my car for 2 months, and then I was like, I immediately met friends that were like, you got to go drift this, and then you need XYZ to go to Club Loose, and that one of those things was a fire extinguisher. So it just feels at home, and also it's like,
well,
for me, I'm like, knock on wood, but I'm like, I just feel better when one's in there.
Yeah, how many videos have you seen of classic cars or older cars catching on fire and the guy's got nothing to put it out?
Yeah.
I should.
Well, if you're just on the highway and the thing just
that's what I'm saying. They're not even doing anything. They're just driving. The car catches on fire.
So I've never been to a drift event like you go to. Do they have a medical team on there and everything? There's a full on staff and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they have that at the track too. They got the tow trucks and everything, the medical staff and all all the fire stuff and everything like that. So I guess they're always prepared for it. Plus they tell you, don't get out of the car unless the car is on fire. Then get out of the car. So it's but even then they tell you get far away from it. So I guess they don't really want
they're not being like, hey, go fight the fire, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. I guess if you really
on the fire, let's go.
I guess if you really want to, but you're really I think at that point I don't think you're gonna really put any fires out with a tiny fire extinguisher either. But who am I?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you use them, because I remember I watched an F1 race where they crashed and the thing caught on fire and the guys hitting the top of the fire with the fire extinguisher. Bro, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying.
Hit the bottom.
Hit the base.
Go to the bottom. That's where it's on fire.
Exactly. Yeah. So but I don't know. You know what I mean? But trust me, I have a lot of other people that drift, and they've all asked me the same thing. They're like, "What do you mean you don't need a fire extinguisher?"
Okay.
Stuff like that.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Well, this
once
again,
I'm alarmed.
Once you get into the actual racing classes, Absolutely,
then that's true
100%.
too. Because
you got to remember, this is just a weekend track event.
True.
You know, do I say racing? Yeah, it's just easier to say it rather than just a track event.
Yeah,
This is
and
a
like
time
drifting,
attack.
and
Exactly,
like in drifting
yeah.
events as well. Though, like none of them are even close to being like professional.
That's
you know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying,
And they have a
yeah.
couple like at least Club Loose does like these little gambler events.
Yeah,
where you,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
300 in the pot or like
Yeah.
500 in the pot to come, and then there's like a little shootout and then
Yeah.
judged or whatever. But like even then, it's like it's just the same rules.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's nothing crazy. So,
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
And I think Buckley
Well, I
did
think
have
I got-
a good point though, where drifting you are technically out of control. Like
True.
you're beyond the threshold of grip. With racing,
Yeah.
like you're trying to maintain control.
trying
of
to
the
maintain
vehicle.
the grip to
There's
stay
just
on track.
less opportunity
Yeah.
or less chance where like the vehicle's beyond your control.
Yeah, true.
exactly.
Very
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still fighting a car around a corner?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a
Yeah.
whole different thing. You
But
know what I
you know,
mean?
there,
I might just buy you a fire extinguisher. I'm just gonna send it to your crib.
That's fine, man.
I'm just gonna hook you up.
I'm
That's
accepting
perfectly
donation.
fine.
Here's my
Yeah.
GoFundMe. My
Just put a-
PayPal.
Exactly. Trust me, I want one in the M3 because if the EG catches on fire, I'll buy another EG. But the M3 is a different story. You know?
afford
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just put a.
Well, I
leave
don't
it-
know. Can you afford an EG now? Have you
Put
seen
a-
how
Yeah, I
expensive
know.
Hondas
Put
are getting?
yeah, just put a leave it running sticker. We'll sponsor your fire
Yeah,
extinguishers.
exactly.
But yeah, like
Just every couple of years we'll swap
with
it out
grip,
for you.
with grip and track racing, like you're supposed to like go 80 or 90% where you still have that 10%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Where you still have that 10% to like
Yeah.
make evasive maneuvers. And all that.
Exactly.
Drifting, you're already past 100.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
already
full,
beyond
You're
the
full
threshold
send
of
or no
grip.
send, baby. You know?
So,
Yeah, I think that's where the difference comes down
and
to
I also
it,
think
you
it's
know?
it's with NASA like not requiring nearly as much strict safety equipment. It's meant to be accessible.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's,
That
it's
shit's
supposed-
expensive.
It's supposed
Yeah, but
to be
I mean,
for
look,
your-
and again, so like I want to say for Club Loose, it's the same thing. It's just you're not leaking any fluids. They
Yeah.
want to make sure the battery's strapped down.
Exactly, it's
You
the
got to
same
have a
thing.
fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Nothing else in the car. If you
Yeah.
have stock seatbelts, stock seat.
Yeah,
If you have
exactly.
if you have a racing seat, you can use stock seatbelt.
Yeah,
If you have harnesses, you have to have a racing seat.
exactly. Yeah,
And then other than that, you
Yep.
know, I think lug nuts.
yeah,
Make sure you got all your lug nuts.
And don't use
Yeah.
aluminum. Like that might not be a regulation.
That's not a
but just
regulation,
don't.
but
Yeah.
PSA.
Yeah, no, it-
lug-
that's what I'm
lug nuts.
saying. Like that's
Yeah, it's not much. It's just the
Yeah.
one thing that's only different
Exactly.
between the two is a fire extinguisher, and I thought it was funny. That's all.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I said, it's I guess.
I think
just,
I got mine for like $50, and it comes
Oh, yeah.
like a metal bracket
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah,
just
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Drill
no,
into your
there's-
fucking
Yeah.
center console or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, yeah. There's a company.
All
that-
mine have been zip screwed in. This
Yeah.
is the first one that's got an actual bracket.
No, yeah, no, trust me, it's definitely something I've looked into. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's
Yeah.
just,
I
once
need to get
again-
one for the Buick, honestly, because that car's old, and while the fuel lines look like they're in good shape, some of them are probably the original from
Yeah.
1962.
Yeah, you never know.
And that's
Yeah,
gasoline.
exactly.
And it's carbureted. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have a
yeah.
computer that goes cut the fuel.
Yeah, right.
So maybe I'll get one.
I did want to ask how many laps do you guys get? You said it was 25-minute
It's
sessions.
like 25 minutes. However, I don't really keep track.
So if it's like a 2-minute lap, you're getting like 9-10 laps.
Yeah. I think on average, I don't keep time, but my buddy keeps time of
Yeah.
his laps. I think we're like low, like right under 120 or something like that. Like,
So you
Okay.
probably get like 13 laps or so.
Yeah,
13,
something
14.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then how many sessions usually for these?
about 3 or 4 a day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're
So you're getting a good number of laps
Yeah.
every weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
absolutely,
the same
yeah.
like rhythm as drifting as well. There's
Yeah.
like 3 sessions, 3 different groups.
Yeah, yeah,
and then it's
yeah.
all about 30 minutes long.
Yeah, and we try to do a weekend, which is 2 days.
Yeah, yeah.
So we warm
Sweet.
up on Saturday, and then we're pretty much good to go on Sunday and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Sick.
And if anything happens, you still have the whole weekend. At
Yeah.
least you get to like with the tire situation. It was like on a Sunday, halfway through the day.
Yeah.
So I was out 2 sessions, but Josh's wife was nice enough to lend me her car, so I went out with her car, which was I forget what year, but it's a Cobalt Sport automatic.
Oh, man.
and
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a fucking serious machine
yeah,
right there.
dude, it rips nuts. It's
Well,
on 200
honestly, the
tread
Cobalt's
wears.
like way better than people give it credit for.
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly.
like
This thing's
the
been pretty
especially the
sweet.
SS.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, like I know the SS has like custom shock and damper rates compared to the regular ones, but it still has the same basic geometry.
Yeah, it's still the
and
same.
it's a
thing.
well balanced chassis for
Yeah.
a little economy car.
Exactly, it is, and I mean, I throw it around the corners best as I could. You know, I didn't go too crazy because it wasn't my car, but hey, it handled what I threw at it. You know what I mean? So I'm not anything special, but yeah, absolutely.
And the Cobalt SS was a fucking track monster. I remember one magazine I was reading. They did a shootout with a bunch of sport cars and different. They were separated by price brackets, and the Cobalt SS Turbo was hitting like 2 price brackets up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it beat the Evo 10 around their track.
Yeah. And this is just a regular, like, whatever.
Well, it's a Cobalt Sports. It probably still has the same suspension, just doesn't have the boosted engine.
Yeah, it's fancy. Yeah, it's fancy suspension, and it's got lowering springs on it and stuff like that.
So
you
that
know, so
probably did pretty good.
Yeah, no, like I said, it handled really well for what it was. You know what I mean? Automatic and stuff like that was nice. You know, so it was just like a little. Like riding a little Cadillac around track.
Well, compared to the other race cars.
Yeah, I didn't have to shift gears, you know, like,
not too hyper focused on what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to take my car around the track because you're always in the right gear.
Oh, yeah, the Buick, yeah.
You got
you're
one
always in the right gear.
You're always
only
in the
one
gear.
So I do feel like this does open the door wide open for you.
I know, it kind of does.
Dude, this
I already
is
told
nuts.
you guys, I always tell you and Fluff when I go down, come on down. You know what I mean?
But you never text me when you're going down.
I know.
You text
I
Fluff,
know.
and Fluff is terrible.
We already know.
You have my number.
Yeah, I know. That's my bad. I know. I always told him, like, when I was working at Nissan, I'm like, yo, dude, I'm racing this weekend. You and Lennon, come on down, dude.
I took a road trip to fucking past Syracuse, New York in the Buick. I know she'll make it.
Oh, I know.
You let me know if you want to go to Watkins Glen. I'm down to drive. Like, we got this.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're trying to hit up Virginia this year, actually.
I'm good with that, too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let me know.
Is that the big one?
So I'll go with you to one of your races, but you got to come with me to Trog.
Oh, I want to go to Trog.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Yeah, you got to come with me.
Yeah, I followed on Instagram. Yeah.
All right, we'll work something out.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Trog looks like it. I mean, from what you said and from what I've seen, I've never been, and I gotta go this year.
Oh yeah.
Like last year, I couldn't go. It was just
Well,
way too close to my.
No, they didn't.
No,
I went.
Last year?
That was fucking amazing.
Year
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the previous year or the year before that. It was either the previous year or the year before that.
Something like that.
I went down. They were gonna hold it, but then the hurricane happened. And Wildwood shut them down. They were gonna still run.
Yeah. They got shut down by Wildwood.
But I was trapped there because now there's a hurricane, and I'm like, well, I'm not driving through a fucking hurricane, so I'm just sitting in my fucking hotel for 2 days.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you plan a ton for the track events that you're going to, or you just kind of?
At first we did, but now like the past couple of years, it's kind of like whatever we can afford and whatever we can make happen. You know, because the cars are starting to get beat up and they're starting to get they start to need work and stuff like that. So things happen. So
yeah, of course.
And it's the stuff's not cheap. And then to go to an event, you're looking at, dude, just eat the chips. Don't try to be sneaky about it.
Just like a Band-Aid. Just do it.
You know? And a weekend costs like $600. So, that's just for the event. Yeah, just to sign up for the event. So it's like, you're looking at it depending on if you're going somewhere.
Is that like a weekend?
Yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday. It's $600, right? Or like just under $600.
Well, is that for just the event, or is that including like?
No, that's just
Airbnb
for the event.
and
That's
all
just for the event.
Jesus Christ.
So then on top, if like we're going to New York, then we need an Airbnb, and then we need food and stuff like that for the weekend.
Fuel.
Yeah, exactly, and a fuel on top of that, and et cetera, so. Yeah, it can be, anywhere up from like a $1,200, $1,500 weekend for just one person, and maybe more, depending on what you need and what you have to do. I mean, the one time we went up to Watkins Glen, I had to tow the M3 back, so that really, started going up in price, so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it all really depends. But it's still, I think, one of the cheapest ways to get into it for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And like we covered this
SCCA autocross.
Yeah.
And as opposed to that. Yeah. But actual track stuff.
We've also covered this like on yours, and we just talked to my friend Julian on our last podcast where it's like it doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's got 4 wheels and an engine, like get the checkbook out. It's gonna be, you gotta sign up and it's gonna be expensive, dude.
Yeah,
there's no getting around it. Doesn't matter what you're up to, what you're trying to do, whether it's just for fun or if it's competition. It's like, bro, it's money. It's not a sport you can just like.
No, you can't.
It's ain't a cheap hobby.
It's not.
It's not.
Even if you don't want to like get into racing, Everything's expensive.
Yeah, it is. I think
like go collect stamps if you want something cheap.
yeah, for real.
Like,
Yeah, go collect coins or whatever. You know. My first event with the M3, I spent $3,000 just getting it ready.
Oh my god.
Just on parts. Just on parts, tires, and stuff like that. It spent $3 whole grand.
So now, do you drive down there on your tires that you're planning on racing on, or do you
The
swap
M3?
them out?
Yeah. The EG, no.
Okay.
I put the stock boys on, and then
That sounds a little backwards.
Do you
I know,
shove them?
So I don't have a spare set of wheels for the M3.
I got some bottle caps.
No.
Nobody wants bottle caps.
I kind of do though for the EG. So we might want to talk.
Dude, I told you, like, part of the whole, like, you buying the
Yeah.
the 6 Series is you're taking those fucking bottle caps.
Fuck. All right. But yeah, so I don't have a spare set of wheels for the M3 because those are it's a full set of rear wheels for that car.
Yeah.
Like they're 18 by 9.5 all the way around.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I don't know. I don't know. I don't have room
So
to
what
put
do
wheels.
what do you do
Yeah.
with the? How do you get all the wheels down there?
Oh, I put them in the back of the EG.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a hatch.
Bro,
Yeah.
the EG's got a tailgate. Like,
I
it's
know,
ready
but I'm
for this shit.
yeah, sure.
I fold down the
mean,
seats, and then I just put the wheels pretty much on top of the rear seats.
Yeah.
Wheels and tires on top of the wheel seats. All the toolbox and stuff like that goes into
all
the trunk
fits.
area. Yeah, it all fits in there.
Okay. Because
Bro,
I know
we used to ride to high school in
Hang on a
Caveman's
minute,
EF.
dude.
This
All right.
thing was bigger inside than it was outside. It was a fucking TARDIS.
Okay, I'm not saying that the hatchback's not big. But he already talked about how much stuff that he has got. I mean, look, he's got luggage, he's got
Yeah.
tools, he's got
like on I mean, I haven't
there's a
taken
lot
the
of
EG
stuff.
on
Bro,
a
look,
big
the
trip yet.
toiletries and the clothes go in the passenger seat, the tires go over the back seat, and the tools go in the way back.
Well, luckily for me too, we do have a semi truck on the squad. So
oh shit.
it's
A semi?
Yeah, a semi truck. It's
Like a Peterbilt or a-
no, it's like somewhat of a truck. Josh's Type R.
Okay.
It's a big old hatchback too.
Yeah.
So a lot of the
It's
things
a
that
fucking
a lot of
TARDIS.
our
It's a Honda. It's bigger inside than it is outside. It makes
Yeah,
no
so-
sense, but Honda made it work.
a
So
lot of our stuff goes into the Type R. A lot of my stuff goes into the EG for the EG, and then our main trip stuff Josh and his wife will bring. So and the wife's car gets packed up too.
Okay.
And if we go on big trips, the dog comes with us, and then the car's used for the dog, and then everything is loaded up into the Type R.
Yeah. So you
Cetera,
guys
et cetera.
pack it all in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah.
now the M3,
the M3 is same thing.
you drive on those wheels though.
Yeah.
So that
yeah,
makes it
yeah.
a lot easier.
Yeah, well, yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I don't have to
Yeah.
swap wheels or anything when I get to
Yeah.
the track.
So if
or
you
nothing.
did, that's when a roof rack is purchased.
Yeah, or,
or
something.
something.
Or I'll just eventually I'm working on getting like a a Tahoe or something like that just to fit everything.
I
in,
feel you,
so,
and that's the reason I
Bro,
asked, man. Because I'm
Facebook Marketplace right now, 1972 Ford Torino Grand Country Squire.
Did you just hear what you said?
Yes.
Ford.
No, that's fine. This is before they saw.
He said, "No, that's fine." No, I'm not double. I'm
Bro,
doubling
it's right
down.
before they.
No,
It's
no.
right before they did the 5-mile-an-hour
I
bumpers.
won't break.
And
Not
it's
buying
a
Ford.
station wagon big enough to carry like literally all three of your
Oh, I know.
all three of you.
Yeah.
All your shit.
No, I want a Buick Roadmaster if I'm going that route.
I mean, that is cool too, and I can't
that's
fault
actually
you.
respectable. That's
My
fucking
uncle-
Because I got
cool,
like an
dude.
LT1 or an LT4.
Yeah, it's an
something like
LT1, same
Yeah.
thing that's in my
Fuck
Camaro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a full
yeah,
frame
yeah.
card too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
baby.
my uncle Big John
Buick
had one of them.
Roadmaster, Chevy
Yeah.
Caprice, something like that.
Yeah. My uncle Big
Fuck
John
yeah.
had a black Roadmaster with the wood panel down the side and everything. The thing was tits. Yeah, me and my other uncle that I worked with at the shop, we had it one night doing a whole fuse box on it and everything. And we finally were bringing it back to him late one night. I had my mom's Saturn Vue with the Honda V6
Saturn
in it.
boys for life.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing was sweet, right? And then my uncle was driving the Roadmaster. We get up to a red light. I'm behind him. And it's like midnight, and he's just sitting there. Next thing you know, you just see the rear end of the Roadmaster. It just starts roasting the rear tires.
No problem.
Or light turns green. I was like, yo.
So you cracked VTEC.
Yeah, absolutely. I chased them in the View. It almost barely kept up with that thing, though, for some reason. I was like, yo, settle down.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of weight to move, but yeah, dude, those things are sick.
Yeah.
It's a shame that like wagons really just never. They're still around,
dude. No one did wagons like we did.
Yeah.
No one did wagons like we did. V8, fucking massive.
Yeah.
All the room you could ever want, and then we replaced them with minivans.
Yeah,
I know, but now I think America's turning a page, and
Cool
like, I think
minivans.
SUVs are coming. And you could probably argue the crossovers are doing a little bit more, but like I feel like people are going to SUVs.
No,
Yeah,
they're going
absolutely.
to fucking pickup trucks.
That too.
I'm fine with that too. I still think it's cooler
It's
than
better
minivans.
than
Unless they put
minivans.
minivan, like the superchargers on minivans. If we can
Yeah.
come back to
I
that,
mean,
I'm buying a minivan.
look.
The old
The-
Previa.
The Siennas and
the
stuff.
first-
Oh, yeah.
Superchargers,
The first and
Yeah.
second gen turbo caravans, like,
They had turbos on the Caravan?
dude, you can
Yeah,
get a turbo
oh,
5-speed
oh,
Caravan.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that-
mean like the ones that I
first
found
gens.
on
First or the one you sent me.
4-cylinder? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
That was that. He didn't do that. That was factory.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
wasn't the Previa a V6 supercharged?
No, 4-cylinder.
That was
Four-cylinder
supercharged? Oh, it was
yeah.
for... Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they put a supercharger on it because
Wow.
Chrysler offered a V6, and they're like, shit, we can't fit a V6.
Yeah.
But we
they're
can
like,
fit a
"All right,
supercharger."
Supercharge it.
Rear wheel drive, baby.
And if you were in Europe or Asia, you could get a manual. So, like, if I bought a
Yeah.
Previa, I'd be looking into importing one of the manual transmissions.
Well, before Adrian tried to get you to buy some crazy old Ford, I was going to say, because I'm in the same boat, where, like, I look at somebody who's, like, driving, you know, like, doing track days, and, like, you're super dedicated to it. Like, you know, you caught the bug, and you're not
Oh, yeah,
leaving,
yeah,
you know what I
no.
mean? So... And, you know, I got the bug back, and I never had a truck or a trailer. I had, you know, just some honest,
You
good
were
friends that
struggling.
I was
Oh, yeah,
able
the
to throw
whole
some
time.
gas money to.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a car, and they would tow me down. And I didn't do that many events. You know, I had a year of, like,
Yeah.
throwing every penny I had as a boy, and then just never had money again. And then I was like, well, I'm done.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
no,
I just,
absolutely.
I burned myself out, you know, being
absolutely.
so young. But,
yeah, that's what it does.
So I'm trying not to do that again. You know,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
trying to
no, I know
figure
what you
out,
mean.
you know, how to tiptoe. And you know, I have a wedding to pay for. You know, so like, a lot of things going on. You know, so I'm always wondering what's up everyone else's sleeve when it comes to like trying to find,
Yeah.
you know, a truck and
Yeah.
a reliable way of getting back and forth to the track. Especially you now too, man. You have 2 cars,
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
I
you know what I mean? That's like.
Yep.
It's definitely means like a truck's in your future,
Yeah,
you know. And so
absolutely.
we on the last podcast with Julian, we just found out that U-Haul's still charging like $50 some odd for a rental trailer.
I mean, you
Yeah,
gotta pay per
absolutely.
mile and shit.
Yeah,
but
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
I think did it say that for the? I think that was for the truck.
No, that's
rental.
for the truck. I think rental. You got to
Yeah,
pay
I
for
think
the mile.
rental-
But sometimes
trailer's
I
all
don't think
day.
they let you do the trailers for the weekend unless you call like a head.
Oh,
You got to call like a head, let them know or something like that, and then
Yeah.
I think it depends on location though, because like
It
I
does.
didn't see any blackout locations when I was like poking around.
It
with
does
that.
because my buddy he rents a U-Haul car trailer
Okay.
every weekend.
I think a
he
U-Haul
comes.
car trailer
I
would
don't
look
think he
great
uses
hanging
it
off of the
anymore,
back
but
of
that's
this
what he
thing.
did. Yeah. No.
Adrian,
If I'm buying an old
Stand
wagon, I
focused.
want a Chevelle wagon.
I mean, fair, but do you know how much that's going to cost?
They were around a few years back. They were around.
Me and Keith had a whole conversation about this, how they change from year to year to year.
Oh yeah,
And
they do.
Certain ones are much more expensive than others.
Obviously, yes, but they're still around.
All I'm saying is like, that's pretty sick.
all right, he doesn't want it, Adrian.
But I don't want to afford.
He doesn't want it.
That's why I'm trying to get David to buy it.
Okay, great.
Okay, good.
God damn it.
Hagerman. Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. You said your friend rents a trailer. I don't know where we were.
My
bad,
buddy
dude.
rents. Yeah, my buddy does rent a car trailer from U-Haul. So I mean, that's always an option too. So that's kind
Yeah.
of like what I'm more or less banking on until
Yeah,
I,
me too.
until I get a bigger location to fit a truck and a trailer and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
the hardest
you know?
part, storing
So-
the damn trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, I was thinking about it. You know, if it's $50, and for the most part, I would probably be doing like 1 day events.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
like totally. I love the 2 day event. I love that,
Yeah.
but like with the dog staying overnight, it's a little. You camp out
It's
at
a
Club
much.
Loose.
Yeah.
But like a tent, but like it's a little bit much. I think at first it would just be like a day event. And so the trailer would work, and if it's $50, and like maybe if I'm lucky, I'll hit 4 events. I think that's
Yeah.
in like my actual budget
Yeah,
to be going.
Yeah.
That's what,
Um,
$200?
like once I think it's 160 for an event.
No, I'm
and
talking
then
about the
whatever
trailer.
tile,
Like the cost of the trailer is like
$50.
$200.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the
so
trailer.
for 4 events, $200.
Right. So
Yeah,
in total, yeah. So
That's a lot cheaper than buying one.
and I think just on the insurance alone, if I have insure a trailer all year long,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like even if I
Absolutely.
buy it, like the investment for
Yeah.
it's like $2,000 for one that's like kind of old and okay.
Workable.
workable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, it's like it seems smarter, and like, you know, if it would be one thing if I knew I would be using it, but like if I don't know for sure, I don't really want to buy one.
Yeah, no,
it's super convenient. But,
yeah, and now I think I think I saw that thing that U-Haul kind of caught on, and now they're going to be offering a new style car hauler trailer. Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Low profile.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of tailored because like I don't know if you ever used one of their car trailers, but like. It's kind of a bitch with lower cars because they got the things in the middle on each of those tracks, those little winglet things to keep the wheels in. You know what I mean? And like, if it's too low, it's gonna hit that. And then when you get to the front, it's like that lip right there. If you're really low, you can't get over that lip. That's one buddy has a problem with his vet. Yeah. Like he had to back it in onto the trailer just because the front end wouldn't fit over the damn lip, or he had to use blocks on the front end and strap it down, you know?
Yeah, it's a whole process.
Yeah, it is a process. Sucks. It is. So, yeah, that's going to be probably my route for a little bit, too, as well, until I can figure something out. But
raise the Civic up a little bit, maybe.
Oh, no, it fits on. It is, well, one, it has been raised up. Two, it does fit on a U-Haul car trailer pretty good. So, yeah, we don't have to use. Yeah, no, you just have to use, you have to use your noodle on how to back up the truck in the correct way. Yeah, so what I do is I get some blocks and I back the truck onto the blocks to lift up the rear end, and that brings the trailer down a little bit more, so then you can get it up onto the trailer a little bit. So yeah, it works out pretty good. So I know we kind of touched on it, but that's the idea with the E24. I'll probably come pick it up with a U-Haul.
Well, that's stock ride height.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's my plan. So
But I also feel like the Tahoes are the cheat code, so I agree.
Well, my one uncle, he had the one with like the 4 muscle cars. He has a Tahoe that he has 3 daughters, and my one cousin was using it in Washington. She lives in D.C. or is going to school there or whatever, somewhere around there. So she was using it for a while, but then the oldest one just got a new car. So then her Mercedes got handed down to her. So the Tahoe, I think, is back. Now. And my uncle was like, yeah, I'll give it to you.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like, word. It's like, yeah, it's a 2001 like Tahoe. Yes. I'm like, how many miles on it? He's like 70,000.
Yes. Oh, dude, I'm like, brand new.
I'm like, give me it. Yeah. Yes. He's like, oh, it's a piece of shit. Like nothing works on it.
You're like, it sure is.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Well, then he's a fucking nut himself. He's like, I think I'm gonna pull the motor out and just turbo it. And I'm like, stop it. Just give me it. So I haven't texted him about it lately, but
it's on your radar.
Yeah, you got enough on your plate.
Well, next month he's having a car show. You guys are more than welcome to come.
Oh, shit. Actually, give me some info.
Yeah, I'll give you info. I got to find out the date. My mom has the date. You guys are more than welcome to bring the car. Your Buick's more than welcome because it's a classic car show.
Yeah, it'll fit right in.
My M3 and the Type R usually stand out. So, so when I go there to talk to them, or when I go there to go to the car show, I'm gonna be like, "Yo,
broker some deals."
Yeah, I'm like, this time I got cash for you. Yeah. So what's up?
Yeah, cool, man.
So that'll hopefully be the plan.
That's sick.
And plus, now that my commute's only 10 minutes from home,
nice.
You know what I mean. Rather than an hour, I can justify having an SUV and stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Especially a big old gas guzzling V8.
Yeah, because I mean, as cool of a daily as the EG hatch is it like, it's probably better if you.
Yeah, I didn't build it to be a daily, so it just so happened that was my plan for a little bit, and eventually I'd get another daily, but it's just, I'm slacking off a little bit on it. So
nah, dude. I mean, dude, I get it. And like, I was talking to Julian before. I mean, I have like a boatload of parts that I bought, and I haven't done like hardly anything to the car. It's down here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's warm. Yeah. It's warm down here.
I've got parts in my trunk that have been sitting in my trunk for months.
Like, I mean, it's been on jack stands, I think, like just after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And I haven't done a damn thing to it. I'm like, what the hell, man? So I can't imagine
like
Julian.
Into car seats. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
I know. Well, now, like we were just talking with Julian. He's like, now the weather's a little bit warmer. I'm just gonna get out there and I'm gonna jam a bunch of stuff down and get it all done. And I'm like, I'm in the same boat. What the fuck? Like, it's been in here. I could have had it. I could have slowly, just for fun, done it. Now I hear like he's cruising around and doing. I'm like, man, I want to go out and cruise.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, fuck.
That's how it goes. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the same thing I was with the E24. Like when I bought it, it was like the dead middle of winter. or the beginning of winter. You
and
know
it's
what I mean?
outside.
Yeah, and it's outside, not running. So, and it's like, as much as Wes is a cool guy, I'm sure he's not going to want to be like, yeah, bring that piece of shit in and you can work on it anytime you want in nice heat. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know you're worth a shit, but go ahead. You know? Yeah, I'm not going to be that type of guy. Yeah, so, right. So it was like trying to find time to get up there to do that when it wasn't freezing cold. You're freezing my nuts off. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, yeah,
you
totally
made it there once.
That. Yeah, I made it there once. I got started on it, you know. But yeah, so I totally get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's tough.
It's like I have every excuse to just be down here just wrenching a little.
No, I get it. It's tough.
So I can't imagine if you have to like bear the elements. And this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted this. As soon as I get that,
you're wasting it.
I'm soiling. I'm just soiling.
Soil that.
I have to pee.
Ready? Yeah. I wanted to back on the pee break. Only thing I wanted to talk to else was like just goals for the track. I mean, you talked a ton about all the suspension parts and the little things you have for it. And your intentions on like getting the car like more like I guess like track suitable. It's already done such a great job, but like going a step further. But I mean, anything else like as far as like goals of what you're trying to achieve for like track events?
I can probably just say be better.
Be better.
Right, and that's another like I mean go into that as far as like going from like you started out with your record, like just how much you've learned. Threshold breaking, like
exactly.
I don't even know about all this.
Yeah, no, it's just just being better and just being more consistent. Like my one guy that was kind of like my mentor that passed away, like. He kind of always just told me like smooth was always better, always faster. It doesn't matter.
What is it they always say? Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of pretty much like what he always taught me. So like and he kind of learned how to get in my head a little bit. So it's just kind of like I always trying to work on that. That's kind of always a goal for every year. And then just just getting the cars out to be more, more focused on the track. Yeah, more efficient and stuff like that. To have the EG be 170 horsepower, but still able to beat up on like a 300 horsepower car. You know what I mean? Like that's usually like kind of what my goal would be. Stuff like that. But with that being said, it's going to be a lot of work, and so in the meantime, try to get the M3 back onto the track and have fun with that because I miss having that power and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, so like mentally, like where are you at on the track? Like when you're going from like you pulled into the track and you.
It's usually the Rude Sandstorm playing when I get on the track. It's kind of weird because it's like I can't really say that I don't get excited for it like I used to, but like when we first started, it was like. Oh, let's go. You know what I mean? I can't say that it's not like that anymore, but it's like, all right, let's get it going.
You're
like it's more like not
Heart
like that.
Up.
You know what I mean? Like it's more just like, all right, let's get out there, let's just have some fun, let's just be safe, and let's just get it going. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So I just always have a goal just to be better. Hopefully move up into the next class, which would be HPD 4. We were going to do that last year, but I think we just kind of like chickened out and stuff. And plus, I had the EG. I'd rather do it in the M3, because it's a little bit faster.
And you're more familiar with that car.
Exactly. And plus, that's the one I've been progressing in, so I'd rather keep progressing in that. So
now
we'll probably do that. And then after that, like once we're in there, that is almost open wheel racing. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, like you're next to somebody throughout a corner. You know what I mean? We're not just in a line and then like the whole track you can pass around people as opposed to like certain areas you can pass at.
Right. So there's like track rules for what you're doing right now where there's like limitations on passing.
Mm-hmm,
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So as opposed to like when you're in the higher class, it's like they're prepping you to be.
Now it's a free-for-all.
Yeah, they're prepping you to be into the actual racing classes. Yeah. So it's like, you better get more familiar because that's what we're going to do,
Yeah. And so I guess we call that a goal. Like, so you want to go as far as you can.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a Honda Challenge class that I might consider getting into, where it's because that's actually like So there's a few different like spec classes you can get into. Spec Miata, Spec E30, Spec 3, which would be like E36s and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you could do all sorts of stuff like that. And I feel like the Honda Challenge one, everybody's going away from. Now it's like it's only a field of like 5 people, as opposed to Spec Miata and E30.
Yeah.
It's probably like 15, 20 of those cars racing in that class. So you're in a giant group of cars that you got to fight around, as opposed to the Hondas. It's like I think there's literally about like 7 or 8 of those guys right now.
Yeah.
So which kind of sucks. It seems like it's dying down a little bit, but like maybe get into that. But my motor, that's where you have to start like making sure like I can't run the motor that I have. I have to put it all back to stock. So it's stuff like that. You know, like you can't run like certain things when you get into that class. Like it's all
it's spec.
Exactly. So it all comes down to like
understand.
the factory specs of that motor. Like you could do a couple things, but like that's it. You know what I mean? So, but then you could strip out the entire car, have it be completely weightless, and you know, with some arrow to keep you playing it down.
I mean, that's interesting. But like, I just saw there's this race group. I don't remember what it was called because it wasn't the main focus. But what they had was they had a power to weight ratio you had to maintain.
Yeah, there's like Grid Life does that.
Yeah, so like the video I was watching, it was Gears and Gasoline. They're a big channel.
They do Grid Life.
Yeah.
They do GLTC.
Yeah, so you know the white Ben, not Asian Ben.
Yeah,
he's got his Civic.
Yeah.
He's like, I tuned my car to 207.8 horsepower because my car weighs this much. And I have to maintain that power weight ratio.
That's how they run in that class.
I mean, obviously that's like a bit beyond you right now, but like that sounds like the fun.
So Josh has been looking into Honda Challenge more than I have. He actually has like a stripped out Integra, like DC2 Integra and everything like that, with like a single seat that he bought off of somebody.
Nice.
So like I think he plans on eventually getting into it. So I'll probably just follow suit, obviously.
Let him figure out the hurdles.
But yeah, he looks into the rules, and like, you know, I asked him, like he was telling me, he's like, yeah, you would have to like save your stock cams because like if you ever decide,
so you could run that engine, but you couldn't.
It has to be put. Yeah, it has to be put back down.
Okay, I was worried they'd have to knock you back down to a D16 Z6.
No. You can still do like, because most people like swap it to like a B18 or something, but like you can't run like a Brian Crowder stage 2 cam like I have.
Could you do like a K series?
Yeah. People do K series, and they build them up a little bit, and that's like where it's at because they actually have torque.
So there's some modifications that you can do.
Yeah, it just has to all be compliant with the rules and stuff like that. Yeah,
it can be a different engine, but it has to be stock.
Yeah, it has to comply.
So you could
with
put
the
a
rules.
front wheel drive like. God, I don't remember the designation, but like the V8 from a Monte Carlo SS that was front wheel drive in your Civic.
I think it has to still be a Honda, but yes.
So put a J.
So like, what if?
Probably, yeah.
So like, what if you like deck the head?
No.
Oh.
No, but
how are they going to verify that?
Exactly. So that's what it comes down to. But then I think you have to do like dyno runs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you have to meet a certain horsepower.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's all technical. I know nothing about it. My buddy does. He knows more about it.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about it a handful of times. So, but if that were the case, I think that's when
that sounds annoyingly restrictive to me.
Yeah.
It is, and that's because they're not fast cars. They're all like fully straight piped Hondas that are, you know what I mean? And they're literally, you just see them like, you hear them all the way at the other end of the track, and then eventually they make it that way, to where you are, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's full on racing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you've got a stock engine.
Yeah, and then there's other classes too, like ST4, ST3, that I could be in and stuff like that,
And you don't have to detune your fucking engine.
No, but it has to still meet like a certain probably like power to weight ratio or something.
Because that sounds more fun to me. Like that way you end up with a Corvette that's got twice the horsepower but weighs twice as much.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Versus
That's
your
where the mixed cars come into play. Yeah,
I find that to be the most exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people do shy
point.
away from Honda Challenge because it gets a little bit too strict and et cetera,
Doesn't
et
stop
cetera.
people from going to Spec Miata, but
and then that's another thing too. A lot of people really like Miatas apparently, so that group is huge.
The Miata following is huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, my friend John Newton we had on the podcast too, and he actually talked about it's kind of famous actually. It's a cheater engine that they use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know about that?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely,
So we brought it up because we were just kind of having fun on Facebook Marketplace when he was on here, and we found a car that was set up for racing, and it was like, it said that it had won championships like in like NASA Northeast.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at like everything on it. He's like, that's a cheater engine.
Yeah.
He just like spelled out a cheater engine and then said he won competitions.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's crazy what people can come up with and do.
These like little things that you just kind of sneak by with.
Absolutely.
You can't actually tell.
It's not technically against the rules, but
yeah, there's that, you know.
Yeah.
There's those little variables there.
And like to me, that's racing, man. Like I hear like the Dale Earnhardt stories where he'd like kind of like lift up the front splitter when they're doing an inspection with his foot and then drop it back down.
Yeah,
You know, these like little things.
There's
that, like that's
was,
racing.
There was another guy, I think,
Smokey
Eunuch. Yeah, he was the crazy one. He was the one
lead
that made,
shot in his frame.
Yeah, I think bigger fuel lines, just to hold more fuel.
Not just bigger, but like looped back and forth.
Yeah, they were
across
looped back
they
and
pulled
forth.
The story that I heard was they pulled his fucking tank because they thought it was in violation, and he was like pissed off. So he drove away with no fuel tank because he had that much fuel left in the fuel lines.
Because he had so many like the
It
lines.
was something like 5 extra gallons of fuel.
Yeah, they were like bigger lines.
They're like an inch and a half,
lap
2 inches of fuel line.
Yeah,
and just looped around the floor of
so
the car.
he could run longer and stuff. You know, it's stuff like
so
that.
He's got a few gallons in
the line.
Yeah, there's reasons why NASCAR has restrictions now, and mostly because
he's
of him.
the reason they race the car or they weigh the car before and after the race.
Exactly. You know, bunch of sneaky rednecks. You know,
and, you know, even Toyotas
that's
did some
fun.
shit like that with their fancy intake for their rally cars. Where like there's a restrictor you're supposed to run, and when the intake tube was pulled off, it met the restriction, but when you put it on, it clamped down and opened up the restriction, so it got a lot more air.
Yeah, exactly. Racers come up with some sneaky shit.
Yeah, man. Like,
it's cool though.
Even with
cool.
F1, McLaren's wing was designed to be more flexible than normal, so that it would actually part under like high speed and let more air flow through it instead of hitting the wing for downforce. It was DRS is a thing in F1 where the wing opens, and they use that for passing.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like a mini DRS because just under normal aerodynamic forces, the wing would open.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's getting outlawed this year or something
science
like that.
Yeah.
FIA was like, we'll let you get away with it this year, but that ain't happening again.
Yeah, or like Ross Chastain, who use the wall to win a race.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You know,
on the NASCAR.
I didn't think we needed rules against this, but sure, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you can't ride against walls now, huh?
Like literally just like put his foot down, didn't brake, and just like rode against the wall.
Every 12-year-old's Gran Turismo strategy.
Yeah, exactly. For real. That's so awesome.
Funny, yeah, man. I love that you're hitting the track, man, because it's you know, at a certain point when after I had left doing the track, I was like, man, I think this is all behind us. You know, only my one friend Julian, but even he had a stint where for 4 years he just wasn't going to the track. Now he's back, and he's been pretty consecutive. I think from pretty much COVID on, surprisingly. In COVID, he was like, "Cool, I'm gonna go."
yeah. I mean, even we did tracked events too. Even through COVID.
That's like the
so
best social isolation or whatever the fuck they
call
it.
It was weird.
Right?
It
actually,
was
hang out with the
cool,
boys.
but it was weird because we still had actually at the time we didn't really have an instructor, but we did. We were in the class above the instructors, so. They wanted to do like lead follow stuff. So it's like the instructor got in his car and it's like follow me and do what I do, and that's how we're gonna learn. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like it's weird.
That is still
But
fun
it was
though.
cool.
That's so like
it was
cool.
different.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
trying to keep up with it, it's hard, you know. But you know, I like I said, it's kind of turning out. I think this year may even be a little bit of a break. Like we may only do like 1 or 2 events. You know what I mean? Like
Just focus on building up the car.
Yeah, I mean, well,
there's some, like I said, there's some things that need to be fixed and stuff like that, and like this shit costs money.
Yeah, dude. And like, and think about it, like in the course of like, you know, the past couple, like with 2 years, and you built 2 cars.
Yeah,
you know?
and like I got 2
Like-
cars. My buddy and his wife races, so that's 2 cars right there.
Let's take
And
a
on
break
top of
and
the-
recuperate for a second.
and he's got 2 dogs, a house, et cetera, like me. You know what I mean? So it's like,
see that, then like, and again, like that's a scary thing. It's like
Yeah.
where like I don't want to like put words in your mouth, but like you know, doing all that stuff can get you burnt out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely,
So like
yeah.
it's not like it's going to deter you from stopping, but
Yeah.
like just letting off the gas though. Like I hate that feeling.
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only break I've ever taken since 2019 when we started was when I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only break I had, and that was, you know, I did that in summer of 23. So it was just that whole half a year.
Yeah.
And then the next year we got right back to it. So it wasn't, you know, wasn't that too crazy. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like for me, like I want to make sure that I don't like do that to myself. Just jump in, throw everything at it. You know what I mean?
Run out of money, run out of willpower.
Right.
But it's good to know once you get started, you can always go back to it. You can take a break, you can always go back. You know what I mean? Like
and I was like, I was young and dumb, and I really didn't have the cash flow. You know, so like it was the obvious choice in my head at the time was like sell it all, get the check. You know what I mean? Like have the money.
Yeah, for sure.
And like it felt good to have a savings account and a cool car.
Exactly.
You know? and then before I knew it, I was able to move out of my mom's house. Before I knew it, I bought a house. And then that's when I realized I was like, I got to sell it all. I had to sell my truck. I had to sell the E36.
And then you realized, man, I got boring.
And then thanks to you guys, I'm back.
It's tough.
Yeah, I never committed hardcore into anything that like sapped my bank account. Although there was like a 2
Getting
year
close on the model.
There was like a 2 or 3 year period where I had like a new car every fucking year, and that ate my fucking savings.
And like for most people, not to talk bad on you, but like most people, like that actually works to their advantage. Is like they're kind of swapping cars and like they're like swapping up, but you didn't do that.
No, I didn't swap up. I swapped sideways. I swapped down.
Great way to put it. Yeah, absolutely. You went from like a Volvo to like a Bug to like another Volvo to like a BMW. You know what I mean? Like
6ers.
Yeah, and then
made no money on any of them.
A Buick, a Fiero, a couple Fieros.
I've got the ultimate two car solution right now. I've got my Buick and I've got a Geo. That's all I need.
Yeah, for real. Is it? yeah, for real.
Is it ultimate two
The Geo, you can barely drive because the bushing's falling out. You know what I mean?
The metal parts are still solid. It will make all kinds of crazy noises. It'll shimmy and shake, but it ain't gonna break.
That's very true.
And that's the good thing about being a mechanic. I know what I can ignore.
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, that sounds awful. It's fine.
Yeah, I've always said that. Like, they always talk about how like mechanics cars are like the worst cars. You know,
I've
and, like,
always said that because I'm a terrible example.
Yeah, it goes one or two ways. It's either solid or it's like
it's a brand new 300,000 mile car.
Yeah, that's
like
what I mean.
meticulously maintained, brand new 300,000 miles. It barely runs, but it does move.
Yeah. Like my one buddy at Honda, he had a Nissan Maxima back in the day. It would change lanes after it shifted into third gear.
Only third though.
Jesus.
Yeah, because the suspension was so fucked up that every time it would be like womp, womp,
Oh god.
womp.
Yeah, depending on what day it was, my Beetle would pull left or right under braking.
Yeah,
Never really knew which way it was going to pull.
Nah, dude, you don't. Not the Beetle, bro.
Yeah, that thing.
You drove it.
Wow. Yeah, but you
and
know,
the seat didn't move. So.
yeah, that was the surprising of all the cars you've ever bought that I've driven. That was the only one I didn't fit in. Was it your Volkswagen Beetle?
Yeah, I didn't even try.
Yeah, his seat wouldn't move, so like I couldn't reach the damn
I
pedals.
used a hammer to get it to move up one click. I was like, I'm done. I can reach the pedals. That's good enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I had a backpack, I think, that I just like shoved behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You've had some shit for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Nah, I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't, buddy. That's cool though.
Well, man, I mean, it's obviously it's always been amazing. We've done damn near. I mean, once it's all edited out,
Maybe
about
3.5
4 hours or
Yeah.
so. We've been sitting here for a while, Yeah, so as always, it's amazing. Thank you, dude, for doing this again.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited to see, even if you're doing one track event, and it seems like you're going to head to Virginia for it.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's a good idea. If you're going to do one, do a good one.
Either Virginia or Watkins Glen. Either of those two are.
Yeah, we haven't been to the Glen in a while, so we'll see what happens. But
And again, let me know when you go and where you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm tired of telling Flo. Yeah, it never happens.
Yeah.
You know.
And you have ton of like I guess GoPro footage and stuff on your Instagram.
Oh
which
yeah.
We'll put in the link down below.
Yeah. Plenty of GoPro footage. You can see me sliding around, sliding out the one time. There's a flip book of me sliding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that was
cool.
a good like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. You like that, right?
Yeah. So you have an active Instagram, and I think that like means a lot to people. Like if they're listening, they kind of want to check you out. So I know it's hard, like getting all that media, but so I appreciate it when I see it. I'm like, hell yeah, you're trying. That's cool.
Yeah, they're long.
'Cause you just love it.
They're long, boring videos. I'm sure not a lot of people watch them, but you watch a couple laps.
90% of people aren't even like dreaming of doing this. Is like,
yeah, I guess so.
I mean, but for us, like I remember, like the first time you were on, like Adrian and I sat here, like because we got here a little early, but like we just watched like a damn near 10 minutes of you just driving.
Yeah,
we're like, dude, this guy is killing it.
Yeah, they're usually 10 minutes long and stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
So,
like I said, I don't really care if people watch them, but they're just there just to be there. It's what I do.
It's like and it's like it's for you.
Me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's for me. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly.
Putting it out there for me.
Yeah, that too.
It's for everyone. But yeah, I mean,
whoever enjoys it, that's all.
Right. But I mean, it's almost like it's a little time capsule, and it's also like, like I always talk about like the old forum days, where you would do something to your car and you could put it out there, and like. Yeah, it just kind of helps you keep track of your build.
Yeah, exactly.
See the progression of the car. It's fun.
Exactly, it is.
So
fun. It is fun. So.
But
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, this has been fun, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Zac Buckley, the great weekend warrior, racetrack. Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, dude. Thank you guys.